What is good, people? It is the KOA podcast with myself and everything animated. What is good, people?
Hello, everybody.
How's everybody feeling tonight? We are starting the spring 2025 season. With a bang? Question mark. How do you
One of those pop guns where it just goes bang and it just like it's just the word bang that comes out.
What is good, Decrepit Storm?
Hey.
Yeah, how are we feeling about spring 2025? I know we haven't gotten to everything, but what's your first impressions?
I haven't seen every single one, so I'm sure there's probably some out there that are good. I will say this, because I don't want to go too far into the ones that we'll be discussing tonight. I did watch Devil May Cry, the first episode. Pretty damn good.
Okay.
Pretty damn good. I love me some Devil May Cry, and it's pretty good. I'll admit that.
I will say, because we're just kind of shooting the shit here. This weekend, I finally finished my. I was doing this thing on stream where I was watching the first episodes of a whole bunch of stuff that I've seen before. Initially, I did it with cartoons.
Nice.
And then I moved to anime. I was thinking about all the anime I was nostalgic over, bad and good. And I finally finished that list. That list was pretty long. Can't say how much anime was on there exactly. But what were some of the animes I watched? I watched Hinamatsuri.
You watch Akame ga Kill?
Yes, I did. That was last week though. I watched Kill La Kill this week, I'm pretty sure. I watched
Nice.
Lagan. It was a lot. But I ended up finishing that list, and then I moved on to making a list of first episodes / movies that I've never seen that are popular. So like anything that was within the top 200 on them all, I was adding to my list of things I haven't seen within reason, because there's some stuff I feel like I'm not going to be interested in regardless. So I created that list yesterday. And let me see. Oh no, they can't see me. Okay. Let me see.
Hello Vash, welcome in.
This is some of the anime on that list. So I added some movies because I barely watch anime movies ever. So I added, like, some of the movies I added was Your Name, I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, Spirit Away.
Great movie.
Because I've never seen Spirit Away all the way.
Great movie too.
Perfect Blue, Look Back. So those are like the movies. But then like some of the popular shows I've never seen are Gintama, Ippo. People in my chat were advocating for Blue Lock. I was like, all right. But one of the ones I watched, some of the ones I watched yesterday were, what was the big one? Data Live and Overlord. Data Live is ass. From the first episode.
I never seen it.
Yeah, from the first episode is ass. I just knew about that series because I know I knew about the one popular character. I think her name is Kurumi, the one with the eye. Yeah. So I knew of her. Does she do that?
I guess.
But I watched the first episode of that and it was like, yeah, just this good. But Overlord surprised me. I didn't think I was going to like that show. And from the first episode, I was like, this isn't bad. I think I will actually watch this show.
Yeah, I it's been a while since I caught up with it, but I remember watching the first season. I'm not gonna lie. Albedo kept me hooked just because it's Albedo, come on.
Yeah.
But overall, not a bad show. It's pretty much an isekai video game type thing, fantasy.
Yeah. You know, because going into the show, I didn't know anything about it except the character design for Albedo and the main character's look. And I don't know what impression I had of the show, but I thought the main character was going to be like super menacing. I thought he was going to act how he looked, because I see this skull dude with this crazy design. I'm like, okay, he's going to be like this menacing, evil guy. And then come to find out, I watched the show. He's just some guy with a job who wanted to play video games and he got trapped in it. And I was like, that's not unique, of course, for an isekai. But because of my expectations going in, I was like, oh, okay, this makes this a little more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was
it's a little different.
Yeah, I didn't think that's what I was going to get. And even like how he approached the romance thing with Albedo, because that could have went in a weird direction very quickly. But even how he handled that was cool to me, because he didn't really take the opportunity to go, yes, I'm going to section. If it was Rudy, oh my god,
yeah,
Did you pull down your pants, Ghislaine?
Yeah, he took advantage of it because he felt up her boobs. He was like, "Is this real?" Of course, but it didn't get super degenerate. So I was like, "All right, this series might be pretty cool."
To be fair, he thought he was in a video game, and he also thought he was dreaming. So of course that would happen. Rudy knew full and good well he was alive when he did that shit.
Yeah. And then I played God of War. Started that game.
I saw that. What do you think so far?
I'm having fun with it. I'm getting my ass beat by trash mobs, but it's fun.
Yeah, I love that game. I love the God of War series overall, but there's something special about that game.
Yeah. It's been pretty fun thus far. I'm definitely going to play it more this weekend. But
nice.
Yeah, I played Blitz the League.
Blitz.
Have you never played that game?
Blitz. I know NFL Blitz. The
League.
It's
called Blitz the League. It's this football game where you play with fake teams and you can like brutally injure people. So you seen like street NFL, whatever.
Oh yeah. NBA Street Volume 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I played those.
Like stuff like that where it's like more. It goes for the more like arcade game feel rather than trying to be realistic like Madden. That's kind of what Blitz the League is with that arcade type of feel.
Okay, so it is kind of like the old NFL The Blitz, because that was an arcade cabinet. I remember that.
Yeah, but because someone shout out to my boy Vesto mentioned that game. He said that game was terrible. But yeah, Blitz the League is like you can hit somebody and you can literally see their spine crack or something. And,
oh my god!
You can take steroids on the bench to get back in the game quicker. It's just like crazy wild.
Where are those games? I feel like that's a bygone era where you don't have over the top, insane, crazy games like that anymore. Everything's just so corporate anymore. But God, I miss games like that.
Well, that's the problem because you're never going to because that was what company made that game? Shit! What company was making the NFL games in the first place? What was that shit called?
Let's see, Blitz the League. Wow, this goes all the way back to the 360. That's how old the Xbox. I take that back.
Let me see.
Huh. But who made this? Midway.
Yes, Midway. Like
Midway Games, yeah.
Like
Did they also do the original Blitz?
Midway is like a big company, right? These big companies are they're always going to go for the gusto now, where they're going to make
do NFL Blitz.
Yeah, where they're going to try to make the big games. They're never going to like make games like Blitz the League, which might not appeal to a whole wide of population of people. It's always going to be either you're going to get the indie game from a couple of people who really wanted to put their passion into something, or you're going to get the attempt at making the next big game. There's not much in between. Of course, there is in between, but it's not as much as it used to, at least coming from the bigger companies. They're not going to do those things anymore.
Yeah, it's funny that this was made by Midway. Midway is also famous for doing the Mortal Kombat games. Like, they were the arcade back in the day too. And you know, the fact that you could like break people's spine and everything, I'm like, yeah, that tracks. With Mortal Kombat and Blitz. That's funny.
Favorite Mortal Kombat character, quick.
Scorpion.
It's so funny that you say that because mine's a Sub-Zero.
Of course. I love that rivalry. Sub-Zero, Scorpion. I love Scorpion. Liu Kang. No, not Liu Kang. Kung Lao. The one with the hat and it's like a buzzsaw when he throws it is really fucking cool.
I thought it was Raiden.
No, Raiden has the electricity and everything.
Oh,
Kung
never
Lao
mind.
has that hat where
That's
the
his brother,
edge is
right?
really sharp.
That's his brother, right?
I don't know the lore, to be honest, when it comes to it. And then I would say another really good one for me would probably be one of the robot people. I think like Smoke or I forget. But those are really cool characters.
Okay, yeah. Mortal Kombat used to creep me out as a kid. I used to have Deadly Alliance. That game used to spook me.
My God. I mean, it's the reason why we got rating systems in video games, because of that fucking game. Yeah. I remember playing the arcade all the time, and they didn't, people didn't care back then. It's just like that was considered violent when, you'd rip out somebody's spine, or you would like take off your mask and blow fire and just pile of bones. Oh my God, what are our kids watching?
Yeah. Some of those fatalities, man. The Sub-Zero one's always stuck out to me. In that game, he like freezes. Actually, does he freeze you? He rips out your entire skeleton in his fatality. He just goes in your back, rips it out entirely.
It's absolutely insane how like that was just so just not even that violent back then, but it was considered violent. Now you have this hyper realistic people getting split in half in the new Mortal Kombat games where it's just ultra violent and bloody, which sometimes it could be a little much in my opinion. But yeah. Now nobody cares. It's like, yeah, look at how ultra violent and bloody this is. This guy's getting split in half.
Yeah.
All those games. Crazy stuff.
So, I didn't write anything down. Oh, actually, okay. You did.
The news?
You did. Okay,
yes.
So let's start. EA.
First, before we... Oh, I'm sorry. I was about to say, before we get into the news, just real quick, rapid fire of the chat. The Satoshi Kon films, don't forget. I don't know what that is. You're telling me the MC didn't tie people up and fondle them? I don't believe it. Yeah. That's, my God. Can't scramble as a QB for shit. You fall over so easily. EA Sports. No middle ground anymore. It's either niche stuff or generic base level slop. Yeah, pretty much. Scorpion the GOAT. Awesome. Okay. We got something to never ever give you the blues. Shit.
Now okay. Get ready for the KOA.
It's Miracle!
So, I don't know if you heard about this, Satsuki. I mean, it was kind of like, nothing really too crazy happened in the gaming world this past week, except one of the most craziest things happened. We had an unveiling of the Nintendo Switch 2, which I saw the presentation and I was like, okay, pretty cool, pretty neat. I enjoyed what I was seeing. And then when it ended, that's when I stopped enjoying it. And it's all because of Nintendo greed. My God. Satsuki.
I'm here.
Would you ever, in your right mind, pay $80 for digital, but $90 for physical for the Switch 2 games?
I'm on the contract to say, of course I would. That sounds like a very good deal.
As he's holding his Switch, that's not the Nintendo 2. Don't do it. Don't say anything. Okay. But that was just so crazy. Like the price itself, $450 for the game, the console, it's whatever. Like that part, I kind of figured it was going to be that much. The fact that things are starting to become more streamlined into like, oh yeah, let's charge $80 for a game. Let's charge $90 for physical copy is ridiculous, because that to me is just going to set a precedent for other companies, Sony and Microsoft, to start doing the same thing. And I'm just like, no, I'm sorry, I can't in good faith support Nintendo, even if it's a game that I really want. I'm just like, no, Nintendo they don't reduce prices in games. Their launch title that came out on the first Switch, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, is still $60 to this day. And the fact that it's not 20 is ridiculous. And I don't know, I feel like Nintendo just got real greedy with this one. They added a chat feature that is behind a paywall, if you can believe that. Like, it's 2025, Nintendo's now doing chat, but guess what? You have to get that fucking Nintendo Premium Plus or whatever it's called in order to use chat. And it's like, I'll use Discord. I'll just use Discord. Why do I need to use Nintendo's stupid chat with their stupid webcam? It just really it brought back memories of, remember the Xbox One when it first came out and they were like, ooh, the Kinect, ooh, this, look what I can do, Xbox on, and all that other dumb shit. Oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Unfortunately, it's still going to sell, but I'm kind of I'm in the same boat as you. I was really I thought I was going to buy the Switch 2 regardless, before all this news came out, because I'm just like, I need it. And, there's of course there's like some Nintendo exclusives that I feel I really want to play. So I'm like, Switch 2, whatever the price, name your price, I'll take it. The price isn't the issue. As you illustrated, it's more so the cost of the games and how that's going to ripple in the gaming industry, because we know, like other industries, it's a monkey see, monkey do type of thing. And Nintendo, being one of the big companies, of course, set a precedent. And it's even worse that it's coming from Nintendo, because it would be one thing if Sony raised the price to 70 and that's the standard, or 80, that's the standard, because Nintendo games aren't PlayStation games or Microsoft games. So it'll be one thing for them to set the precedent. Nintendo games being this price, that's crazy, because Nintendo games are usually on the cheaper side in comparison.
Yeah. People were arguing online about how, well, when you go back to stuff in the 90s, video games were around the same price. And I remember prices being like that. I was really young, but I remember that stuff. Like, they were close to $70, $80 back then. But here's the difference. Back then, you could own your games. You had your physical copies of them. I cannot understand why anyone would buy a game for $80 that they don't even physically own. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that. And on top of that, in the 90s, you could afford to eat. You could afford to pay rent. That was more of like a luxury thing if you wanted to get a video game thing. This stuff now, where it's just like $80 now, it's like, yeah, people are like, the cost of living is so expensive now. Like, I can't in good faith just be like, yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll pay $80. And not only that, a video game that's not even fully like It's not the special edition. Doesn't even have everything up, because that's the bullshit they do now with games too. Is that they'll sell you a game and it's not even the full game. You have to wait a couple years before you get like the Game of the Year edition, and it's like, I can't do it. I absolutely can't do it. And it just, I hope, and I never thought I'd say this before this week, I hope the Nintendo Switch 2 bombs. And the only reason I say that is because we need to start speaking with our wallets. You know, if Nintendo's going to think, oh yeah, people just pay for these games because it's Mario, I hope that people really, because I'm a fan. I love Nintendo. I grew up on Nintendo. I have an N64 still from back in the day. But what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And I don't think charging $80 is fair. And on top of that, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to have GameCube games on top of that. But again, you have to pay a subscription fee for that. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just all bad the way you look at it. And I hope these gaming companies like get affected for this. And yeah, it sucks that people have to like lose their jobs, because we've seen in the past couple of years game companies like getting laid off and going bankrupt and whatnot. But I don't know. There needs to be kind of like a time where it's like enough is enough.
Yeah, oftentimes things got to get worse before they get better, and that's kind of where we're at with this, where Nintendo has to get burned for there to be any recourse, because, you know, from their perspective, if they're able to essentially fuck everybody over and they get paid for it handsomely, why not do it again and do it some more?
Yeah. And Nintendo's one of those big advocates where, you know, if you use emulators, they'll go after these sites and they'll like hunt them down and they'll shut them down. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I don't know. They're really strict on their money and not wanting to share the wealth as far as, older games. Yeah, you can play older games only if you buy this console for $450. Yeah. So that's how I feel about it. I no doubt think that it'll make money. I'm sure people will go out and support it. I don't know. I think Nintendo's making a big mistake by doing this, and I hope people speak with their wallets and they really do, you know, like, it's one thing to support, like someone's like, if it's a good game, it's a good game. But I just think this is just a bad business idea altogether.
Yeah. In due time.
Yeah.
In due time, we'll see how the people respond. Bass says, now need the internet to download the key off the physical copies of games in order to access them is the craziest part. Yeah, that is just awful.
Yeah, it's a handheld fucking console, and you're just like, you need internet. Isn't that the whole point of being a handheld console, is to play it offline? But yeah, so friggin' dumb. The last piece of, I guess, like news, it's more of a just like, if you know, you know type of thing. But one of my probably all-time favorites when it comes to like animated movies is like got released today, and it's 30 years old, and that is a Goofy movie. A Goofy movie is iconic for the fact that I feel like when it first came out, I don't think Disney even knew it was going to be a hit like it was. Like, it was just one of those things that kind of like flew under the radar. I don't know if it like even made money, to be honest. I just know that a bunch of millennials went and saw it back in the day in the theaters. So I was probably 7. I remember watching, my dad took me to see it, me and my brother, to watch it. And it's such a great movie, story about father and son, you know, coming of age and whatnot. But, you know, it's a movie that I feel like gets better the older you get. Like, when you're young, you sympathize with Max, but then as the older you get, you're more on Goofy's side, and you're like, why is Max being a little bitch? And they soundtrack alone is iconic. The soundtrack is great, and with power line and everything, probably one of the better climaxes in any movies, to be honest. Like just absolutely perfect. Just the movie, and the moral of it is just basically saying, don't be embarrassed of who you are and just be proud of where you come from. And yeah, it's just such a great movie, such a fantastic movie. And that came out 30 years ago today, which is it's hard to believe. Yes, Vash, we became best friends. Goofy movie is great. Goofy movie 1 and 2. Oh yeah, I think that was called like a un-Goofy movie or whatever it was called. That one was pretty good too. But Goofy movie 1 is like a classic.
Yeah, for sure. So EA, I don't know if you're signed into the KOA channel, but if you are, or if you can you? So then we can create questions, because I wanna have that. So we did actually get some questions, but I want to let you know if anybody who was watching.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, let me switch over so that I can do that right now.
All right, so I don't have any news, so I guess we're going to get right into the shows that we have to talk about. 4 different shows, starting with, I think I don't even think this could be argued, the best show that we watched this week, which was Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, episodes 62 and 63, the penultimate episode. And EA,
Yes, sir.
very brief thoughts on how you felt about these pair of episodes that we watched.
Incredible. These last 2 episodes were, well, not last 2, but these past 2 episodes were just incredible. First part, which was 62, was just epic, with just the ultimate villain and overpowering of, a showing of good versus evil. And then 63 just being a pretty damn good conclusion to a character's story arc that, not gonna lie, got pretty misty-eyed when I saw it. It was really, really good. So yeah, that's my brief synopsis.
I think, just to give a little overview about my feelings with these 2 episodes, I think I teared up multiple times watching these 2 episodes, and it was a lot of moments that we'll get into. But I echo your sentiments. I thought these 2 episodes were amazing, and it's weird because before we started watching Fullmetal Alchemist, it was a lot that I forgot about this specific arc, this final battle. Because I did read the manga maybe 2-3 years prior. But I think the anime just makes everything come to life, because, man, we had some of the best moments in Fullmetal Alchemist with just these 2 episodes alone. We're going to, of course, talk about these moments, but yeah, I think this show, we got 1 more episode left, but when people have this as their favorite anime, it makes so much sense to me. Like, this show is a show that I feel totally has earned the crazy score that it has on Maul, because it has like a 9 point something on there. And, sometimes I look at those shows and I go, what was so great about that? Or, I like it, but is it this good? Fullmetal Alchemist, I think, is a show that just has earned the hype that is garnered in its time, and still to this day. And I think these 2 episodes kind of illustrate why I feel that way.
Yeah, it's there's definitely no denying it. It's for sure. Like, I agree with your sentiment as well, because I feel the reason why fans fight it so much, and I'm talking about whenever there's another anime that goes above the mouth score, I guess, of Full Metal. I'm like, why do people go insane for this damn show? I get it now.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, it's like every time that it's like this mob of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood fans that whenever something breaches or is in a range of beating it out on in the scores, it's like they go to that one anime and just like they try to downvote it and everything. So it doesn't surpass Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, which that's stupid. Whatever, we're not, and I doubt it's like a lot of people doing that in comparison to the actual fan base of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. But I'm not saying that's a good thing, but you can see why people hold this anime in such high regard. But let's actually get into things with episode 62. So we continue the fight.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was finally able to add the Q&A.
Yeah, see,
I just figured it out as I was like doing this on the fly. So yes, let's get into it.
Oh, that's cool. I can actually see it on my screen.
Cool.
All right, cool. But yeah, we continue the fight with Father, and it's like in this fight we're bringing the house. Everybody's doing whatever they can to attack him. But first, before that, Hohenheim has a conversation with them where Father is on his ego maniac trip, talking about how humans are lesser beings than him because he's trying to absorb people, killing them to create another Philosopher's Stone. And Hohenheim, chastises him for this, saying that you see humans as lesser beings than you, but at the very least, humans can make a Philosopher's Stone. They create. You do nothing but destroy. And then that prompts Father's going, nuh-uh, I can make humans. Look at this. And then, and then he replicates the, or we see like the physical bodies of the people of Xerxes that were used to make him, and he uses that to psychologically trip up everybody. He even used a baby against Izumi, which is all sorts of evil. But yeah,
oh for sure. Oh, so bad. But yeah, it was just the ultimate, bad versus not bad versus evil. My God, good versus evil, and essentially just I don't know, like Father. He was essentially almost kind of like he was still powerful, but he was desperate at the same time, and you could tell just by his ploy and his tactics and just how he like goes about doing everything, just trying to mess with you psychologically, trying to just lie and deceive. Hell, there was a point towards the end of this episode where he got so desperate he just became animalistic in a way. Give me the stone. Like what happened to this high and mighty person? All of a sudden he turned into a literal meth head that you would see running the streets.
Yeah, it's so interesting, and this is kind of going into what we get in the future. But he's cast aside all his sins, but he still exhibits behavior that we would see in humans. Like he's no higher being. What makes him different than any other human who had an immense amount of power? Nothing really. The only thing that's different is that he tries to talk like he's a higher being or anything like that. But I mean, his attitude and how he carries himself is what we expect from somebody who has a lot of power with a even bigger ego. So yeah, he doesn't really seem like a higher being other than in his demeanor at the very least. But he ends up blowing up half of Central, blasting everyone away. And we'll talk more about like the aftermath of that whole thing. But we end up cutting back to the other guys who are still underground. That being like Armstrong, Sig, Olivier, Greed, all these people. And Greed is telling everybody who can't fight, please stay your ass back.
You're just gonna get in the way.
Yeah, Father is on some other shit right now. If you can't battle right now, please get out the way. I'm talking to you, Olivier. And then, Olivier being Olivier is just refusing. She resists those orders because, she has a lot of pride.
No.
As a soldier. She feels it's her duty to lead her men. And this is one of the few moments where I'm like, where a character not fighting or a character just relaxing is character development. Because she ends up, of course she resists Greed when he initially says it. But then she gets a call from her men, the Brig soldiers, and they kind of remind her of what she started with the Brig soldiers. It's something that we already mentioned. It's the whole idea of we work without the head. If Olivier isn't here, we still function. She of course is the driving engine for why the Brig soldiers are as tough as they are and how they came to be. Of course, she is the creator of that. But it's like a child. It's like they've grown up to the point to where they can take care of themselves. And that's the kind of thing that she established with her men, is that I can be gone and you guys are still going to run this like a well-oiled machine. That's why she left Miles, in the north, and he's, doing his thing over there. When like Kim, when she was taken away to Central, they were still able to function well enough. So they remind her like, we'll be good without you, Olivier. Please sit your ass back. And she's like, whatever. Armstrong, make sure you win. Yes, sister.
Yes. I will defeat this man, for this is a generational talent or whatever.
I promise on my muscles, I will defeat Father.
Yeah, there was a couple of people that were chilling down there too, including Izumi's husband, which I feel like he could have done some, but hey.
Yeah, he probably could have punched out Father.
Are you kidding me? He definitely could have, but I was wondering why he was chilling in the back, because he wasn't hurt.
Yeah, they made it a whole point that the regular humans are staying back, but he's not a regular human. I'm sorry to say.
No, he's strong.
This is a man that helped box up Sloth.
Yeah, that deserves its respect, all within itself. But yeah, I found that to be strange. But I did like kind of what Olivier did. While she was staying back, she saw the dead, rotting, stinking corpse of Fuhrer Bradley, and was just like, pissing me off with that smile on your face. But hey, we got you, bitch. That's what you get for underestimating my men. And I'm like, yeah, that's something she would say.
Yeah, it's one of those emotional moments for her where she, veils it in her tough persona, because she of course heard about Buccaneer's death over the phone. She never got to see what happened. She never got to see the impact of his death, because that being one of her top soldiers, that affected her in a way that she, of course, doesn't try to express outwardly. But we saw, her, kind of like, gripping her, balling her fist up, and so we saw how that emotionally affected her. But again, she didn't really know full impact of what he did, other than what was told to her, that he inflicted a mortal wound upon Bradley. And then she finally gets to see the fruits of his labor. So it's like she gets to rest at ease knowing that Buccaneer was one of the unsung heroes of this entire war, if we're being honest, because Bradley may not be the final villain, but we saw what he was able to do. So without that injury, who knows what Scar wasn't confident that he could beat him if he didn't sustain those injuries. And how that came to be was food sacrifice, Buccaneer sacrifice, Greed coming in there, the random soldier shooting him. All of that accumulated into them being, or Scar being able to finally, put an end to Bradley. And even then, that wasn't enough if we're going to be technical. But you know, I think it was just a feel good moment for Olivier to be able to see that Buccaneer's death wasn't in vain.
Absolutely. Great stuff. Catch up on the chat really quick. It's been a while since I first watched Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. After rewatching it, it's definitely one of my favorites. That was Decrepit Storm. Vash says Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood really just gets better with time. Never found myself liking it just as much or any less the last few rewatches. There's always something that makes me fall in love with the series even more. Decrepit Storm said AOT, Fruits Basket, Kaguya-sama couldn't defeat it on Mal, but Frieren finally dethroned it. Chillin' my queen, Olivier, she's got aura to make up for it. She does have aura. She has something. Is it aura, though?
Yeah, it for sure is.
Okay. You got to do the muscle pose, too, when Alex says that. Man always needs to flex every sentence. Yeah, for sure. Just
my muscles, I promise I will protect you.
Decrepit Storm then ends it with Briggs men showed that everything said about them was true, which I agree. They were tough as they came.
They were the ones fighting against Father with just normal weapons and, holding their own. And giving, some of the other alchemists relief. So, yeah, they were instrumental in this whole battle. And it'll be interesting to see how everybody is kind of rewarded for this. We kind of saw the aftermath, this is jumping ahead, but we kind of saw like the aftermath of everything. But I guess the more interesting part is how much of the public will know what was done for these people and how will they be honored, because given the political shape of, or how this was politically shaped by Roy and his team, again, they think Bradley is the good guy in all of this, and they think that, or it was a narrative was about to be spun that the Briggs guys are the bad guys essentially, and Roy is here to stop the insurrection coming from the inside with the Central Men. So I wonder how people like Olivier and the Briggs soldiers will be rewarded for what they did. Is it going to be one of those things to where they just in the shadows and Roy just gives them great position and medals of honor, or who knows? We don't even know if Roy is going to be the Fuhrer for all we know. But
I know.
Yeah.
You made mention to the random dude that shot King Bradley in the head that kind of like made him fall. Did he just make an appearance and shot fucking Father in the head?
He probably did.
Whenever they were like fighting and everybody was getting like their punches in on Father and whatnot. Because I remember there was a soldier that shot him right here in the head, and I'm like, is that the same guy? Fucking A! I've never seen an extra get more. Yeah, to get so screen time. He got a shot in on Fury Bradley, and then he shoots point blank, not point blank, but just like a nice marksman shot in the head of Father, a super bad homunculus. I'm just like, give that man a promotion. This no name we know nothing about.
He's the northern male version of Hawkeye.
It's what he is. Yeah. I thought that was neat. I'm like, he made an appearance again. What are the odds?
Yeah. Oh, but yeah. I want you to talk about it. The epic return of Mustang.
Oh, that was pretty great. That was great. I mean, we saw him. Well, I don't know if we saw the fire first or if we saw, but basically it was just like the flame alchemy was being used again. It's like, what happened? What is this? And he was burning. Well, he wasn't burning him. He was, and I'm talking about Father, like he was like being protected because like he was using his shield that whole time against everybody. He was burning up his, no pun intended, his Philosopher's Stone with everybody that was attacking him and whatnot. But that was so fucking cool just to see him. Like, he didn't even have whites in his eyes. He became full on, I've been blind my whole life, and his eyes were closed. Just started just doing that and whatnot. And yeah, I kind of had a feeling that Hawkeye was going to be the one to like help him along the way. And that was really fucking cool, where it was just like, I love how he asked, did I get him? He could have like did a devastating blow. Did I get him? About 3 centimeters to the left, sir. Okay. About now. Oh, just keep doing it a little quarter. Yeah. And just goes to show you how great their chemistry is.
Yeah. Because he needs her specifically to be his eyes, because he can't really trust anybody else to have that connection with them to relay information as fast and as accurate as she can. And again, it's Hawkeye, so her being a sniper, it just makes sense. It's not even just because of the connection they have, it's just who she is. Like, this is a moment that was kind of tailor made for her to do.
Yeah.
And then it's also cool on Roy's side. Now he's using alchemy without the transmutation circles, because now, since he's opened a portal, now he can just clap just like Izumi and Al and use his alchemy.
Yeah, that was pretty cool too. He's like, that's right. You took my eyes, but you didn't take my hands. That was the thing you should have taken. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty fucking cool.
But so we saw the aftermath of the blast, which was devastating. We saw Al had to protect May, and his body got ripped apart. What's left of his body.
He pulled a Piccolo.
Yeah.
He pulled a Piccolo. Yeah, and he just... Ooh. I'm surprised that his little insignia didn't get blown the fuck away, but yeah. Whatever that metal's made of, that's a pretty damn good metal.
Yeah. Because we saw Ed's arm, like, disintegrate in the later.
Right, his arm just full on, just gone. But his armor that was just somehow mysteriously laying in their mother's basement. Where did you get that? Me and your father had kinks back in the
day. do like some medieval play. Madam, I am here to save you from your oppressive father.
Ooh, are you the knight that's going to save me? Yes, I am, milady. Takes it off. Oh God. He's just mortified and disgusted. Ew, I didn't want to think of that. I put your son's soul in that thing. But that was tragic. That was very very sad to kind of like just see Al, his quote unquote body, get torn to shreds, and to just basically do what Al does, just sacrifice himself in order to protect others. And that wasn't the only time he was going to sacrifice himself. Little did we know towards the end, he would sacrifice himself again. But yeah, poor May. I know I give May a bunch of shit, but she did really pull through in this episode. Finally, I'm so glad she pulled through and did something.
Well,
but yeah.
Oh, do I want to go to that moment? Hold on, I'm trying to think. Do I want to go to that moment now? Okay, not yet, because
not yet. Tease it.
There's some things before. So interesting enough, Greed is overseeing this whole thing, and he's seeing all the power that Father's displaying, and he's like, "Yes, I want some of that." And Lean's like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Hell yeah!" We'll revisit this, and of course, next episode we revisited that. But you know, there was some disconnect with what Lean was getting from Greed, with what he said he wanted and what he felt he actually wanted. Which, I mean, I guess that makes sense considering they share the same body. So can't really know somebody more than that, I suppose.
Yeah, he was eventually just fighting him, which was pretty cool. He eventually, he stuck his fists inside his father, which sounds gross, but no, trust me when I say this.
Sometimes you just gotta fist your father.
He was fisting his father, and he was like, "I'm going to absorb you, my son." He's like, no, please, anything but that. No, I really enjoyed that scene too, because Greed was like one of the first homunculus that just like got disposed of when Father was like in his prime or whatever you want to call it, because he took him, reverted him back, and he just swallowed him. I'm like, you little, ugh. But here we go, Greed, almost kind of like just rebelling in a way. Not almost, he was rebelling, just basically going, no. You're not the boss of me anymore. And he like punched him, and he was going to get his Philosopher's Stone back through that. But then Greed pulled a reverse Uno and said, "No, I'm sucking your life force now, getting it out of you." And that's what happened there. Greed kind of like inflicted a pretty good bit of damage on him by sucking out a good majority of his life force.
Yeah. What was I going to mention? Shit. Does I want to talk about Greed? Well, because this kind of happened towards the end of the episode, so I'll say that. But
okay.
Going back to the owl thing that you said. Ooh, that was heavy.
That was really heavy. That was crazy.
Yeah.
It was a huge risk too.
It was this is what Al has always done in the show. He's always been kind of like the shield for everybody. Like, he's selfless to a fault, and not saying that's what this is exactly, but I mean it is, because I mean this man figures, what can I do in this situation? His he can't fight. All he has left is his consciousness and his soul. And Ed's arm is gone, broken to pieces. Everybody else is down, not able to fight Father. So with Ed, with Father about to try to absorb Ed, he's scrambling to figure out what can he possibly do. And May's still able to use her alchemy, so he's like, all right, if there's one thing I have left to give, and given that my brother has given up his arm and leg to bring my soul back, maybe I can do the reverse and sacrifice my soul to bring his arm back. And that's what he ends up doing. and it is definitely one of the best moments to come out this series. Like I don't just that scene of him like reaching in to touch his seal, and then him going to see his body, and then him his body like touching the suit of armor, and it just disappears, and just Al's belief that Ed was going to win and that he would come back for him. It's just it is so great. It's great payoff for their dynamic. The things that Al has been learning over the course of the series, and man, it was that moment was incredible.
Yeah, that not only shows the utmost trust in his brother, but it's probably one of the greater sacrifices he could possibly make, and definitely a huge gamble, but for sure a great one. Basically, he wanted to get his body back. I think his body at some point was thinking, no one's ever going to get me back. But he finally got it back, and there he was in the truth after spear world, whatever you want to call it, because it's not really a name for it. But yeah, and with that, Ed got his arm and his leg back, because that was the big equivalent exchange. Hey, take my soul, and you give his arms and body back, and that was great too. And then Ed just put everything behind those punches at the very end, where even Father was like, "What? Mere human just punching me, silly? No one can punch me." Yeah, that was fantastic. That was so great. Just perfect way to just kind of like end that episode and segue into the next one. But that was, yeah. I don't know really how else to like put it other than the fact that it was just amazing. Just perfect.
Did you notice the detail of Ed's arm having like long nails?
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh my God, that's attention to detail. Yeah. Because I did see his nails for long. I'm like, of course his nails would be long. He hasn't had it for however long. He needs to trim that shit.
Yeah.
I bet some girls are like, oh, I'm so jealous. Just, I love your nails.
Yeah.
He could take those and just be like, come here, Father, let me stab you with them. Turn into full on Wolverine.
Yeah. But I thought that was a great detail, because like his arm and leg has not, been in that world and has been unkempt for all that time. So it makes perfect sense that he would gain it back and it wouldn't be the same as the arm he currently has.
Yeah, and he had like the full on scar right there too, that like had it like reattached, and now he has that permanent scar. I mean, I guess if you wanted to like say that there's any kind of detail flaw in that other than the nails, is like, why does it still have muscle? It should be skin and bones too, just like Al's body. But that's just a minor nitpick. I'm not going to like wail on it way too hard, because how else are you going to have a badass fight if you just have one weak arm and his left being better?
The one thing I will say with that specifically is that they've made it a point that whenever Ed has like drank milk or like provided his body with nutrients, it's also done the same thing for Al's body, and that's why, although it's like he's like anorexic. Yeah, so like he's still maintaining,
because he can't eat.
Yeah, because he's maintaining Al and his own body. So I will say his arm should still be weaker, but it still makes sense that there would be some muscle definition on it. Considering that they made it a point that all the stuff that he does in the real world is still transferring over to not only Al's body but his body too.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. The Cryptid Storm said he had long nails just like Al's body. Yeah, Al's body had long nails too.
Yeah.
Long hair, long nails, skinny fucking everything.
Oh man, when he comes back to the real world with his body, he's going. Remember that list he was making of all the things he wanted to eat?
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna have a field day. He's going straight
Yeah.
to
Winry?
Gracia.
Oh.
Remember he wanted to eat like
Okay.
her like some pie or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he wanted to eat her pie.
that sounds terrible.
I know.
He was like, "What?"
Well, Winry, didn't he say he wanted to eat Winry's pie too at some point?
Probably.
The man likes pie. What can I say?
Women's
He
pie
hasn't had a
specifically.
He just wants pie. But yeah, that was pretty much the gist of it of episode 63. Epic animation is off the charts, just really great. And Bones, they do great work. I don't care who you are. Like every anime they touch turns to gold. Even with My Hero, because they pretty much spent every season on My Hero. But say what you will about My Hero as a story, it looks great. Bones does a great job.
I can agree. But last part of that episode was Ling making Greed realize what he always wanted, which is going to sound super cliche and maybe corny to some people.
I thought the same thing.
But yeah, it's like what I always wanted was friends. And
I wanted friends.
again, sounds cliche, corny. I get it, but not to be that guy, but it just makes sense considering everything we've seen from Greed. Like he started this whole thing where he had a whole bunch of these chimera misfits in this group, and he talks about what he wants: money, status, women. But it never really seems that he actually cares about those things past him saying it. Like, can we name a moment where he was just like, yeah, I'm about to get me a girlfriend, or yeah, I'm about to go make me this money or something. Like everything he's cared about has always been his own people. That's the only thing that seems to motivate him to do anything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I thought the same thing when I heard that. I was like, really? Friendship? Here we go. But I also kind of was taken aback, and I was just like, he's a homunculus. He's not a human. He's, he's basically a sin that's not even like his own. He's just someone else's sin as a homunculus. And just, yeah, that makes sense, as cheesy as it may be.
Yeah. That's why when he ended up killing one of his friends, remember that
poor lizard dude.
Yeah. Like that, he did it at first, and then he started to actually, regain a little bit of his memory, and they kind of like fucked with him from that point. And that's why he ended up attacking Bradley in the first place, because he remembered everything and went, "You killed all my friends." Again, everything
Makes
he's
sense.
ever cared about in a series has never been the stuff that he's talked about: money, women, power, status. Because again, the only time he's ever acted in anger or all these other emotions is when his friends have been endangered. That's it. So I think it makes perfect sense. And I think he's also been influenced by Ling as well.
Yeah. No, he's really become good friends with Ling. Like, he actually cares about him. He's became a friend. It's like, thanks for letting me use your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, good stuff. Good stuff. Onward to the next episode.
Episode 63. Man. So father goes to absorb Greed again. But we go inside the body of, we see like the soul version of Ling and Greed, because father again is trying to take him, and Ling is desperately clinging on to him, not wanting to let go. But as he's clinging on, his soul is starting to be ripped away, and it's about to be assimilated into Father's body. So to prevent that from happening, Greed, does the whole, "Hey, we're going to defeat them together." Really?
Yeah.
Psych. Gotcha.
Oh my god! But yes, that is true. He said he did a very noble thing. He became one of the, and by when I say this, I'm talking about like good guys of the homunculus.
Mhm.
The homunculus. You could make an argument and say like some are like really evil, some are kind of like in between. They just kind of do what they want to do. But then there's Greed that basically, I mean, even Father said it. You dare fight back against your own father? And it's like, yeah, you treated me like shit.
That's what he did initially. Oh,
Right.
that's what I was going to say. I was going to say it's so cool that Greed ends up being the first homunculus to die, and he's also the last one to die. That's what I was going to say before.
The first to die and the last to die. But when he died the last time, oh, it was epic. Oh, it was very, very epic. Just, so good. Yeah, and it was kind of touching in a way. As he's like dematerializing, going into nothingness, it's just like, I'm glad I got to have friends. He just just goes away into nothing. And yeah, that was pretty great. And he also dealt yet another blow to Father by releasing all of his souls, like the rest of them that he had in his body.
Well, what he did was when he assimilated Greed's body, because he fully absorbs Greed. Greed goes, "Cool, thank you for doing that," and then changes the carbon in his body to the weakest carbon that he has.
Right.
And because
That's
of
right,
that,
he did do that.
because of that, Father goes, "Fuck, all right, get out of here, bro." And then that's how he ends up dying. But because his body's now so weak, I forgot, it may have been Ed, but he gets punched so fucking hard it knocks all the souls out of his body like he was a Sonic character.
Yeah, that was Ed. He punched him right in the stomach, and he got a hole in his stomach like he's a hollow from Bleach, and just he gave him that that epic "you're done" punch to the stomach or chest, whatever, wherever it was. But yeah, pretty great stuff. Yeah, because like even before that, like Father was literally at the end of his rope. Like he because he was getting his ass beat by Edward, and then I think some other people got a few shots in after that, and like he was starting to look worse for wear. Like he was all decrepit and all shriveled up and whatnot. And that's, like I said before, he looked like a meth addict. He's just like, I need a stone.
Yeah, one of them stones.
Tyrone, you got any more of them stones?
More of them rocks.
I'll take any kind of pink rock at this point. Oh, but yeah, that. There's always something spectacular whenever you see a villain go from being high and mighty to just being desperate and just pathetic. Just because you essentially you reap what you sow. And that wasn't even like the end for him. Like even after he got defeated, there was way worse for him in the afterlife, so to speak. So sucks to suck, I guess.
Yeah, so yeah, he gets defeated and he goes to his own portal of truth. And it's like we're seeing him for what he's always been and has done his damnness to try to avoid being, which was the dwarf in the flask. Which, I mean, there's a lot of different implications with this. or there's like a bigger theme, and we kind of see it through Hohenheim later. But it's kind of tragic in a sense because he wanted to be free, and he felt the only way to achieve that freedom was manipulating and using humans to the degree that he did. Which, I mean, given his position, he kind of did have to do that. I don't know what else he could have done. That's why he kept asking, "What could I have done? What could I have changed? What did I need to do to be successful in this?" So it is tragic in that sense. But
probably not do genocide.
Yeah, probably.
Just saying.
He probably could have tweeted that instead of killing like millions of people. He could have maybe thousands. Go a little lower. Go a little smaller.
A couple hundred.
Yeah.
Soon as you got that body and you became father for the first time, dude, you should have been fine. But oh no, you wanted to go ahead and pull down God and to absorb his powers. You greedy son of a bitch.
Yeah. And like I said, that was part of the problem. He was trying to be much more than a dwarf in a flask. And that's why I said it's tragic in a sense. In a sense, he wanted to break out of it. He was what he was, and it would take the sacrifice of people for him to be free. But he went a step further and tried to become a perfect being. And like I said, it's more of him compensating for what he is, a dwarf in a flask. So to avoid that, he sacrificed the people of Xerxes to, have a body and, take the form of Hohenheim. Then he goes a step further. Oh no, I got to be better than Hohenheim. I got to be the greatest being in the universe. So he tries to literally assimilate God into his body. And, after all of that, he's finally punished for everything he's done. And he goes back to what he always was, that dwarf.
Yeah. Vash says, Ed's answer to truth is a top 10 scene in anime history. Argue with a wall. I guess we could talk about that later. But Decrepit Storm also said, you might have noticed Father's portal is completely empty, meaning he learned nothing. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. That's why he was asking as they were like pulling his ass in there. What could I have done? What did I do wrong? Is there something I said? Do I offend? Do I smell? No, that's not.
I didn't mean to tweet that out.
I didn't mean to tweet. I like every racist. I swear I'm not racist.
I was hacked.
I took some drugs. I was drunk. Oh my god. But yeah. And thus ends Father and his whole reign of whatever you want to call that, because he pretty much made up the whole series when it came to just, this mysterious transmutation circle throughout the country. Ooh, what's going to happen? Yeah, he did all that. And in the end, what did he get for it? Big fat middle finger from God. Yeah.
And, part of why what happened to him is because he couldn't accept who he was. And that's, truth says as much. You tried to run away from your origins of a human. You cast aside your sins. He kept trying to avoid what he was. And because of that, that's why he got the punishment he got.
Yeah. Sad, but in my opinion, well deserved, because he kind of brought it on himself, to be honest. This wasn't something that, he was just misunderstood. This is not the mole people from, oh my god, the fuck was the name of the anime that we watched? The mole people. Oh god, I can't remember the damn name, but it was the little girls, and they had like powers, but it was all like they found out later that the mole people was them.
Oh, Shinsekai Yori.
Thank you. I don't know why. I knew it started with an S. Anyway, this isn't like the mole people who he was doing bad things, but at the end of the day, you understood why he was doing it.
Yeah.
Like, essentially, that's kind of... There's no redeeming qualities when it comes to Father and what he did.
Yeah.
What he did was utterly disgusting and horrible, and he killed lots of people to get what he wanted.
Yeah, he would do it
No
again.
redeeming... Right, he'd fucking do it again if he had the choice. But, you know, it's safe to say he's going to go away and we'll never see him again. Good riddance.
Yeah. But the next interesting part of this episode comes when the sacrifice of Al sets in, and people are kind of like mourning, especially May is mourning over his supposed death. And Ed is scrambling hard trying to figure out what exactly he can do to bring him back. And he's offered twice on, two different occasions. Greed, the Philosopher's Stone comes back. Greed's like, yo, I got this. Want to try it out? Or Ling says that. I mean, just Ling at this point.
No, I know what you meant.
Yeah. Ling is like, here, take this. Which is such great growth because that's what he's been looking for this entire time. And we see how, I mean, this happens with a lot of these characters. We see how much they've changed from how they started. This is what Ling literally gave up his body to get this Philosopher's Stone. And here he is ready to offer it to Ed because he understands not only how much Al means to him, but how much they contributed to this whole war. And they're pretty much deserving of it, So, but Ed's like, no, I promised my brother I would never bring him back via the Philosopher's Stone. After we learned what this was, no way. And then Hohenheim steps up, and this one was, really emotional because he wants to step up as a father, and he regrets not being there for them, and he blames himself for some of the things that have transpired with them, and even just this war, because again, he wasn't there. We understand why, but he doesn't make any excuses for it. And Ed's like, no way, I'm not killing you to bring back Al. He's like, there's got to be a different way.
And see, the thing is, I thought it would have been poetic if and fitting in a way if Hohenheim sacrificed himself to bring back his son. To me, that would have been so fitting. And I honestly thought that's where it was going. But then Edward was like, don't you dare say that again, you big stupid idiot.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Guess we're not going that route.
See, I agree with you that it would, I feel on the surface, yeah, that would be a fitting conclusion, like into his character, coming full circle, being there for his son, sacrificing himself for Al. But I think that was like an easy out for things, and instead we get a better moment where Ed reinforces he doesn't want to use the life of, or, the lives of the Philosopher's Stones to bring back Al, and also it shows you now how much respect Ed has for his father. Now he's calling him dad, and their whole dynamic has changed. Not saying he would have used it if he disliked Hohenheim at this point, but those emotions are welling deep within him. Like he's crying at the thought of Hohenheim, trying to sacrifice himself for Al, because now he means something to him,
Yeah.
So I think it would have been an easier way for them to sacrifice Hohenheim in that moment, but I think we ended up with an even better moment because they didn't go that route.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. I definitely agree, and that will again be saved towards the end. Decrepit Storm says somebody should have said, "Hey, if nobody wants the Philosopher's Stone, can I have
You
it?"
might as well. Hey, yeah, I like alchemy.
I like how Ling, basically his body transformed. Now he like has this badass look of greed, but now he's Ling. He's regular old Ling again. Because remember how he looked like at the beginning? He was goofy. He was what do you call it? Like from Xing, and they were like, "We don't take kindly to you." They were just so rude to him. Now he's got like a sleeveless shirt, and he's got muscles, and he's got long, cool styled hair, and he's like, "I got this Philosopher's Stone. You want to use it?"
Yeah.
Whole thing, yeah.
Somebody's going to take it
Yeah.
off his hands if it is.
Yeah, I want to say I'm curious to see what happens to that, because I don't think we found out what happened to that in that episode at least. But Ed draws his own fashion transmutation circle, and he says before he goes, "This is gonna be my last one," and then goes to the truth. And he did something that I thought was pretty clever. He basically said, "That right there, that's my truth. I want to sacrifice that to bring my brother back." And it's almost like the entity, God, whatever you want to call him, he was like, "You solved the riddle.
Like,
you get
damn.
your brother back."
All right. About time
It's
someone's
almost-
done this.
I was waiting for him to say, "Tell him what he's won, Bob. He's won a brand new brother."
So, what in your opinion, what does Ed sacrificing his portal of truth mean? Or why was that the right answer?
Be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I'm thinking maybe it's probably left up to interpretation. But if I was to take a guess, when it comes to, because basically he's getting rid of the whole use of alchemy and whatnot, and we all know the laws of alchemy. You put in what you get out, equivalent exchange, all that good stuff. If anything, why was that his truth? Because he tried to bring back someone who was dead. And I'm thinking maybe that's something that, once he learned to kind of like let that go, to basically understand like there are some things that are, they're gone and they'll never be back. So in order to move on, I have to, like, you don't forget them. You'll always remember them. They'll always be with you, but you don't try to bring them back, because there's some things that just you just can't do. It's just physically impossible. That's my guess.
The way I saw it is that alchemy has been, especially given what we saw from Father, has been this power that can make humans or other creatures reach the power of God or make them God-like beings. And when Ed gives up his portal of truth, it's essentially him giving up his potential power of being a god and using that in exchange for his brother's body and soul. So, because I one thing that I remember very early on is that conversation Ed has with Rose in that arc where he says, where Rose is talking about how she wants to bring back her lover, and Ed talks about how he doesn't believe in God, but it's ironic because as an alchemist, it's like he's playing the role of God with some of the things that he does. I mean, given at that time he was looking for the Philosopher's Stone to bring back their bodies. So with him giving up any potential for something like that in the future, I think that's why he was able to bring back his brother back, and why that was the answer, so to speak. Kind of getting on what you were saying, I feel like it's also Ed just submitting to the laws of the world, essentially. Like with him just being a normal human, it's just like anything that happens, he has to accept as it is, rather than using alchemy to try to reverse the laws of nature. And of course, there's rules to alchemy, but we've seen rules be bent with him being able to see the portal of truth. So I think that's kind of why that was the answer and why that exchange was able to work.
Yeah. Really good stuff. And Al finally returns back to the real world with his body
Naked.
and naked. Yeah, at least they got him covered. But he's shriveled up and weak, and I can only imagine what kind of rehab that man's going to be going through for the next so many months to get his muscle back. Fuck, he has to learn how to walk again. Oh, his just everything's just that's going to be hell. But you know what? If he wants it bad enough, he'll get it back. And I mean, hell, I kind of like one of the things that he said when he came back, where he could actually feel again. He's like, I think he said like, I feel the air or something. I can't remember exactly what he said, but yeah, that just goes to show you that he knew he was back. He's like, I'm a shriveled up corpse, but damn it, I'm back, and I'm gonna eat maize pie. Going back to eating pies.
Yeah. The Crepustorm says Ed mentioned he couldn't save a girl even with alchemy. He's still thinking about Nina after this long. Yeah, I noted that moment. I thought like, man, that's a great callback, because that was one of the moments. Of course, he felt powerless in what happened when he tried to bring back his mother, but that was another moment where he felt, because at that point he was more established as an alchemist. He knew what he was doing more, and he still couldn't do anything for Nina. He regretted that moment, and had it been up to him, Nina would have still been in misery as a chimera. So that was a moment that still weighed on him. And,
that happened early on.
Yeah. The Crepustorm goes on to say, and that he's not Lauren himself, he is just a human. Yeah. And that the contrast of what happened with Father to him kind of illustrates why he had the answer and why Father didn't have the answer, is because Ed was able to, pun intended, I guess, realize the truth that at the end of the day, he's just a human. He's just, it goes back to the whole thing that he learned on that island with his brother, the island that Izumi took them on to survive, where it's like, one is all,
you
all
boys
is
will
one.
live. See ya.
The classic Piccolo training. Yeah, it's the whole idea of all is one, one is all. They're all just like, everybody makes up a part of the world, and nobody is bigger than the existence of the world. No matter if you have alchemy, if you're a chimera, whatever, he's just an individual. And because he was able to see that, I think that's why he was, why he was able to find the answer, where his father never could see that.
Yeah. It was like I said, wonderful realization. Just a perfect way to kind of like just bring back Al, and their journey to get their, one, his arms back, and two, his brother's body back. He did it.
Yeah.
He succeeded in achieving that, and he got him. He got them both. So mission accomplished, boys.
Isn't it like also very poetic that Al was able to give Ed his body back completely, and Ed was able to give Al's body back completely?
Yeah. Very fitting.
Like
absolutely fitting.
And it's like the same parts too. Like literally Al brought back Al's entire body, where Al brought back his arms and leg that he lost, bringing him back. So it literally comes all the way back full circle.
Yeah. No, that was great. That was really, really cool. Worst part was True saying, "You must have seen it with your own eyes," to Father when he only had one eye in the dwarf.
All right.
Oh, funny man. So, Father's defeated. The boys got their bodies back. Basically, what happens now is just a bunch of just like aftermath, so to speak. The treasonous soldiers were being reprimanded and arrested. That pride was given to Mrs. Fuhrer, and just like, here's your baby. She's just like, what the fuck is this?
Hey, my baby, what the fuck is this?
This isn't Salim. This is an aborted fetus. What the fuck is this?
Give me a fucking Pokemon.
Right. Is this a squeeze toy? Oh no, that wasn't a squeeze toy. Oops.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie, that was really weird because it's like he just gave it to her. She didn't even say a word. It's like, does she know what that is?
Here's your baby.
I don't remember giving birth to this. What is this?
I know you won't get this reference, EA, but it's like when if for anybody that's seen Hunter x Hunter, it's like the kite thing in Hunter x Hunter. When when the Chimera Ant Queen gives birth, like what the fuck is this small ass being? But yeah, that was funny. But yeah, it'll be interesting too because we're talking about like the aftermath of everything. How do you see what happens with Roy playing out? Because they said like he was going to be the one to oversee things, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is he can't fucking see you. So how does that work?
I don't know. If anything, like the man can talk. That's really all he can do. He can't see unless he delegates his power to Hawkeye somehow, and they both kind of like work together. You know what I mean?
Like, Storm, you're right. That's my fault.
He didn't get his leg back. It was just his arm.
Yeah.
Because he gave his. Oh.
He lost his leg.
I thought he got all of his. Okay.
No, because he lost his leg initially doing the human transmutation. And then Al lost his body. And then he lost his arm to bring Ed back. So it was just his arm that he got. That makes sense.
Okay. So then he doesn't have his leg back still?
No.
Ah, well, I mean, you win some, you lose some, I guess.
I mean, he'll settle for 2 arms, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. He'll settle for 2 arms and 1 leg as long as he's got his junk. That's all that matters.
Imagine Truth taking that and just walking around with it in that portal. You looking for this?
Look what I got, and he's just throwing it around. Just
it gets hard in that world whenever he gets aroused in the real world. Like, damn.
Oh, he must be thinking about Winry.
He's just. This is annoying. I'm gonna give it back to him next time he comes here.
He's like, yeah, I'm sick of. You know what? I don't even know why I wanted this damn thing. Like he comes, you can have this back. What about the laws of fuck the laws of equivalent exchange? Take your dick back. I don't want it anymore.
Now I want to know what happens with the truth that has Roy's eyes. Does it have eyes in that world now? it's
right.
Weird as
He's
hell.
just like, look what I got. Puts him in. Oh my god! I can see things I've never seen before. That just makes me think. Does everybody has like a certain body part? It's like I have just a leg. I have eyes. Yeah, it's I don't
gonna-
get it.
They're gonna take my dreads away.
Oh no.
Took all my hair.
Where'd your hair go? And he's just like the guys up there just yeah. That's what would happen if Rudy performed human transmutation. His dick would get taken away.
Oh my god.
Oh, fucking Rudy. It always goes back to Rudy. My God.
But
I guess like a couple more things left, and then it's done with this episode. We get Hohenheim kind of like reminiscing about the dwarf in the flask, and just kind of like remembering all way back when how, you know, at the end of the day, the dwarf in the flask, what did he want? All he wanted to be was free. He wanted freedom.
yeah.
And, you know, being a slave himself, I think he could relate to that.
Sure.
But yeah, he kind of like, I wouldn't say he hated father or anything. It was just more like he understood him. He didn't want him to do bad things, and yeah, he did everything he can to stop him and whatnot, and he did. But and in a way, it was like, I don't know, almost in a way, he was kind of like a friend.
No,
As weird as that
definitely
sounds.
He definitely was. It's just that he couldn't stand for what he was doing. But you know, he understands that as much bad that he's done, he also freed him. He literally taught him how to read and write. Like the same way that he gave his blood to make him who he was and give him his body, he pretty much, gave him a new lease on life. So he can try to, distance himself, but he understands that he was a part of me, essentially. So I thought that was a very powerful moment. And that's, while I still feel this way, I don't think that Father is a great villain by himself, but I still think he's so integral to the story because of his dynamic with Hohenheim specifically. I think he gives us incredible moments with that relationship, and for that alone, I think he does it, his job as a final antagonist pretty well.
Yeah.
But more Hohenheim moments. Armstrong thanks Hohenheim for all he's done in the Armstrong fashion.
You are so great.
I want to thank you for putting your semen in Trisha and giving us Edda now. They helped us tremendously in the war.
Thank you. I mean, you're welcome. What?
But yeah, Hohenheim, man, and this is what really, really, really got me. Hohenheim goes to Trisha's grave, and then he's talking about talking about his sons, of course. Talking specifically how he's happy that Ed's finally called him father, because that's something he's been craving. And he talks about how he's been prepared to die for a long time, but now he's in his final moments, he's still clinging on to life. And I think the reason why, because he doesn't say it, but I think the reason why is very obvious, is because he wants to be a father to his kids. Now that the war is over, now that he doesn't have to travel around the world spreading the Philosopher's Stones everywhere, it's like, man, I finally get what I've been wanting to do all this time, and I don't have enough time. I'm out of time. So he regrets that, but at the same time, it's bittersweet because he finally feels that he can be with Trisha, which is something he's really wanted as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Really bittersweet moment. Just one of those moments where a tearjerker for sure. He's just I don't know. Like as he's like kneeling down and talking to his deceased wife and everything, you see his body just slowly just peeling and fading, and hell, even he turned old and gray, just like old Fuhrer Bradley did. But yeah, he got to have closure and he got to have peace. He essentially, yeah, he got to have what he wanted, which was to be back with his wife, the only one that ever loved him for him. But as far as being a father, yeah, yeah, that's definitely a huge regret for sure. And what's the granny's name?
Panako.
Panako finds him in that same position, and she's like, "Oh, Hohenheim, you're back!" and sees him, and it's like, oh, and that's when it's confirmed that he died, right?
Yeah.
Then and there, and she said, "Well, at least you died with a smile on your face, and that and you can finally be with Trisha." And I was just like, no. And of course, the ending just shows everything Hohenheim from the beginning to what led up to the events and whatnot. And thus ends Hohenheim's arc, his character, his story, his journey. And man, what a character. Just absolutely incredible in every sense of the word. I think not only in this series is he one of my favorites, he may be one of my all-time favorite characters in anime. Just an incredible character.
Yeah.
Never thought I'd ever say that, knowing what I knew only from Fullmetal Alchemist from 2003, where he was just a piece of shit.
That is total whiplash. Hohenheim in 23 is like the wimpy kid. Hohenheim in Brotherhood. It just looks like Armstrong.
Right. That is exactly the comparison. Like there's no comparison whatsoever. But R.I.P. to the GOAT, and now he can rest in peace.
Yeah. It was so crazy how much I was hating on this character when I was reading it. And watching it, this is like a whole different experience. I don't know why that is for me exactly. But incredible character. I could see him being in people's top fives. I could see him being
easily
your favorite character, top three. I mean, you could put him whatever. As long as it's not outside the top 10, at least to me, because he's just that great of a character for me.
for sure.
But yeah, incredible character arc. He only gets better with time as the series progresses. You start to understand him better. You start to feel for his character. But I think overall he did his job as a father, and yeah, RP to the GOAT.
Yeah, he his character paid off for sure. You know how there's some characters that are in a series and they just never pay off. His paid off big, especially towards the end when you saw he put all the Philosopher's Stones in and everything just got like like everything that the man did, there was a reason behind it, and it wasn't all for naught. So
yeah,
just great.
Yeah. But
well, we got one more stinking episode left. I never thought we'd make it.
one more episode.
We did it. We are on the final episode of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. God. It's crazy because it's like I almost feel like it could have ended with episode 63, but I understand that there's more to tell and there's got to be more closure when it comes to all the characters, but I wouldn't have been mad at it if it ended with 63.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll guess we're going to get a lot of closure, I'm sure. Probably even like a time skip, maybe even like a future jump. I don't know, something.
Oh, I did not realize I didn't have these in order. But yeah, that is it for Fullmetal Alchemist. We have one more episode that we'll talk about next week. But right now, it is time to talk about our spring 2025 anime, starting with none other than Rock is a Lady's Modesty, episode 1. EA,
Yes.
how do we feel about this first episode?
This first episode's very interesting for sure. It's, I don't know, like high class, hoity-toity, rich kind of like fancy school club, not club, but school. And then we have basically just the two girls, like one plays drums, one plays guitar. One's got blonde hair, one's got black hair. And obviously they're going to be the main characters of the series. And good music. Really enjoy the music. Thought the animations were cool. How it's, again, I don't know anything about like musical instruments and how it looks like when it's played. I'm sure C Tactics would know better than I, but it looked like it was authentic to what it would look like if it was being played. But don't like black-haired girl. I thought that was so off the cuff, random. How I'm gonna look up the names. I'm sorry. Let me just scroll to them. Okay. Liza,
Lalisa,
and Otoha.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you say it? Okay. Otoha, she's the black hair girl. She really leveled hard to Lalisa and was just like, "Hey, you fucking suck! Oh, you're trash! You couldn't play your way out of a paper bag, mind you." Lalisa gave up playing because I'm assuming something to do with her dad. Like her dad died, because you saw in like the flashbacks like something to do with that. But it was just so random, because she invited her to play the guitar and like to do all this and let's jam together. And she, for being rusty, she did a good job. But I don't know. I just thought that was very random how she just basically called her out and then left and said, "See you later." That was one of those, like, other than that, the episode was fine. Just when it got to that part, I was like, what was that about?
See, the way I feel about this show, it's so funny because I was saying that I feel like this series is going to be Kakaguri-esque, not just because I see the characters like literally look like, Lalisa looks like Mary to me and Otaha looks like Yumeko. But I feel like they also kind of mirror that in how they're presented, with Otaha being like this super polite individual on the surface, but when you get down to like her actual character, or whenever she's in a situation where she's doing something she's very passionate about, she just seems to transform into a whole different character. And I was like, yo, that's literally just like Yumeko. Yumeko is so polite, nice, and bubbly outside of gambling, but when you actually put her in gambles, she's a monster. She's willing to deceive and trick people. She's she's very intense in that setting. And that's the feel I get with Otaha. So for me, I do agree. It was a little weird how they went about it. But I wasn't that surprised, given that I think this series was really going for that whole that contrast of we're going to have these characters who are high class individuals, polite. They're the traditional Japanese woman, the ideal Japanese woman, and we're going to flip that. They're going to be rock stars, and they're going to be intense, and they're going to be vulgar, and they're going to be out of bounds. And I think Otaha was like the representation of that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely I can see that, especially where they were going. But man, did it just kind of come out of nowhere? And it just seemed, I don't know. You just met this person, and then that's the first thing you say to them. It's just always a weird thing to me. Like, that's the first thing. It's like, that'd be like me saying to you, Satsuki, hey, cool, man. Oh, is that how you play God of War? You got your ass beat by the troll? You fucking suck, bro. I don't know you.
Well, yeah, but that's the problem, right? It's because she's obviously super passionate about rock and playing the drums, and she's in the heat of the competition, so that's why she is.
For sure.
So, I mean, expect that. Expect more of that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Just by looking at the GIF alone, you could see in their faces how intense they look.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about on the video that you're streaming. But yeah, I see more of that. Blonde hair girl, she's kind of a fake herself. She pretends to know shit and then like act all proper and whatnot because I don't know, she was given an opportunity to like go really far in this school and whatnot. I don't know. It just kind of like shows just a little bit of that.
The Crypto Store said, I think Lalisa's hair came from the same planet as Hana's.
Oh my god. It was like those swirly kind of like macaronis, you know what I mean? Like the ones that you get.
That
little swirly cues.
That has to be a bitch to maintain.
I mean, her curling iron has to be like 3 feet tall. It's like a yardstick.
It looks like
she fucking curls.
Looks like a roller coaster or some shit.
It's like, hold on. Yeah. All right, I'm going, Mom. Where do you think you're going with your 3 foot tall hair?
We got to talk about her mom too. But okay, so what we get with this episode is just the foundation of Lalisa, her motivations, who she is as a person, this school Oshin, and this school is all girls, is for the wealthy elite class, and basically the goal of the school is to take all these girls and make them the ideal Japanese women. So they want them to, talk about boring shit like classical music. Not all classical music is boring, but you know what I mean. They want them to be like very in a mold, so to speak. They don't want them to go too far beyond that. Do the traditional stuff that we want you to do. Be polite. Always maintain your composure, all this type of stuff. Just the antithesis of what we get later on with, Lalisa and Otaha wanting to rock out, So they're the rebels in this whole thing, and the school is the status quo that they're trying to fight against.
Yeah. Yeah, that's essentially pretty much what the episode is, just getting the fundamentals down and whatnot. Lilisa's a big fat fraud, and just like some things, whenever they ask her, it's like, oh yes, I enjoy that one song. And she just like kind of like remembers it from something that she heard like one time, and they're like, "Oh, she's so great," and it's just the wonderful anime cliche of just the girls just screaming in the background, just going, "Oh, she's so great!"
This school has like the biggest dick riders ever.
They really do. It's like, "Oh, she's so great! Look at her hair," and then the other one, "Oh, her hair's even longer, but somehow it just doesn't touch the ground. It's amazing." Yeah, and both of them are, I forget what I don't know what the title is, but they're both trying to be like the
noble maiden.
Yeah, that's it. The noble maiden of the school. And she's number one, Otaha, and Lalisa is like a strong contender for number 2. Mm-hmm. And that's essentially what kind of kicks off, I guess, the rivalry between them two. I don't know if there's really a rivalry. It's just more, they're just both really attractive. Well, they're both really attractive and are prim and proper.
Well, it's a rivalry for on the side of Lalisa, not so much Otaha from what we know, because she's being propped up as, oh, she's the number one in the school, whatever. But from what we've seen, we don't know if she even cares about that. That's just how she presents herself.
That's true. She was on all fours looking for her pick with her butt in the air, and women were like, "You see her on the ground? Oh my god!
Yeah,
her ass." She's just sticking up in the air.
We don't know much about her at all. That's why I said it's so much like Mary and Yumiko. I seriously think that the basis of these characters were taken from them because they're so similar. Because in the same way that we know a lot about Mary, we know about Lalisa and her backstory.
Maddie.
And then with like Yumiko, we don't know much about her personally, at least up to a certain point in Kakegurui. But we kind of just get stuff in real time rather than ever going retroactively with her character. But so we know Lalisa wants to be the noble maiden. The question is why? I have my answer, but what do you think?
It has something to do with losing her father. Like, I honestly feel like losing her father played a big role in her life, and we don't know what happened. We just know that he passed away, and it seems like the mother resents her for it because, parents, when they grieve, they have to take it out on the children in animes. I swear to God, they're always just like, it was because of you that your father died. He had to play the guitar and get electrocuted, or I don't know. Just it's going to have something to do with the guitar somehow, because it always is. And it's going to be one of those things where it's like, we were going to grow up, we were going to be this, but father died and I gave up wanting to do the guitar, but I want to maybe secretly do him proud, even though he's dead. I don't know. It has to do with his death. I know it's something to do with that.
Before I give my answer, the Crepus Twin says she's a character pretending to be strong. I like how she barely knows anything, but everyone is so convinced. Yeah, it's like your reputation gets like so King. Great. Yeah, your reputation gets so great that it supersedes anything that people actually see from you. It's literally being carried by your aura.
King just stood there and everybody just got destroyed. He's so fucking strong.
That literally happened, remember? Because you read it.
In the manga.
The monster, like, he literally just stood there and the monster basically killed himself because they thought King was going to do something to him.
Yeah, it was so great. Oh, great stuff.
Okay, so I'm thinking on a sort of the same lines as you. I do agree that it has something to do with her father. Kind of just to expand on that, I think, because we saw her playing guitar with who we presume to be her father, so we kind of get where she would get that from. But I think the reason why she wants the Noble Maiden title specifically is because it has connections and basically a guarantee on future wealth. And I think whatever happened to her father, maybe he was like a starving artist, maybe he had aspirations to be a musician and it didn't pan out. I mean, how many times have we heard that story? So maybe he was trying to make a lot of money as a musician. It didn't pan out. He could be dead for all we know. That's looking what it is. That's looking what from the backstory what it is. Maybe he just died broke and the family was devastated after that. And because of that, Lalisa's mother ends up remarrying somebody who has a lot of wealth, so they could always be secure and they would never go back to hard times. And maybe that's why Lalisa wants the Noble Maiden title, so that they never had to live how they probably did for a period of time after her father either left, died, or whenever he was out of the picture, essentially. That's why I'm thinking she wants that noble maiden title, because we know she doesn't live like these other people. She presents herself as a commoner, and she feels that to her core. Aside of
But
that,
she knows what she does. She shops at Walmart.
yeah. I mean, there was a scene where she was in a car looking outside the window, and then she sees, she sees everybody. She's seeing like the schoolgirls walking out the door. She hears somebody playing a guitar on the street, and she's like looking at it longingly, as if that's something she wants to be a part of, but can't because of her drive to. Again, I'm thinking that she's chasing money, basically.
Didn't somebody shout, "Shut up!" to the guy that was playing guitar? I'm like, that's rude.
Yeah, he was playing well, and he was just singing. I was like, this is a nice performance. This is kind of soothing. This was, shut the fuck up. I was like, is this New York?
Where does this take place? Yeah, I thought to say that. It's kind of rude. I mean, I don't know. I see street performers all the time, especially if you're in downtown. It's not anything different. You see someone with a guitar, and then they just got an open case, and there are people throwing in money. Mm-hmm. That's all the guy was trying to do. But then, so shut up. What was wrong with it? It sounded lovely. Must have brought up some memories.
Where was he going exactly that he needed to shut up instead of just like leaving? Where were they at?
They were just stuck in traffic, and he had his windows rolled down. He just looked over. He's just like, "Shut up! I'm trying to wait in traffic, and I'm just listening to this shit. So I can roll up my window."
God.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. I mean, this all kind of like gets kickstarted as well because Otaha drops her pick that means so much to her, and that's when Lalisa follows her to like give it back to her. But she plays the drums and has a pick, and then she's like, "Go ahead, it's my cherished possession. You play with it." I don't know. It's kind of weird.
She probably was able to play both. I wouldn't be surprised.
Right, no, I get that, but she didn't ask for it back after she gave her all the trash talk and whatever. She was just like, "Yeah, you play like my grandma," and then just like left. I'm like, it wasn't that much of a precious possession if she just walked away.
Yeah, but I'm thinking maybe it's something to where, because if you remember when she dropped the guitar pick initially, she it's two things. So when she dropped the guitar pick initially, or in Lalisa dropped her handkerchief, she held hands with her to give it back, and I think at that moment she felt the calluses on her hands and realized that maybe she was a guitar player, and then she kind of confirmed it when she brought it back and knew it was a guitar pick. So she took the opportunity, was like, "Oh, you're just like me." Because she's probably thinking about it like, "Man, this is a great opportunity. This school is so fucking boring. I finally have somebody that I can relate to on some level." So she was like, "Fuck it, just take the guitar pick and let's rock out." That's what I'm thinking.
She's doing a great job not trying to lose friends. She's trying to alienate the only other person that's interesting in the school.
I mean, I just like the initial goading that she did with her, where she was like, because Elisa's like, "I can't play guitar. It's unbecoming of a maiden." And then she's like, "Oh, you just told me you weren't good at it."
That part was funny because she just basically wanted to see how good she was into her performance. And that's when she's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like she doesn't even, of course it's an outburst. I feel like she doesn't even believe everything that she said there. I think it's more of her trying to maybe like motivate her in a way of, "I'm gonna piss you off so much," doing that instead of
that you'll come back again.
Yeah.
And show you. I'll show you.
Yeah, basically try to fire up in that type of way. I could see that being a thing. She seems very manipulative to me.
Oh, for sure. And you know she was raised to do that. I'm curious to know what her backstory is to see how she got to be that way.
Yeah, because
how she got to be in the school. Because we know about Lisa, but I said Lisa. Lalisa.
Yeah.
But we don't know about Otaha yet.
Yeah. Because it'll be interesting. I doubt they're going to have her have a copy and paste backstory of Lalisa.
Her father dies too.
Yeah. So that would mean that her family's actually wealthy. So what would make her be this way exactly? Where would she have even learned any of this? There's so many different questions with that.
It's okay. I can see it. Because we have both ends of the spectrum. We have one who it seems like that they were struggling and now they're trying to go into wealth. But then we have someone who was born wealthy, but then, I don't know, maybe listened to some rock music or saw a concert or something on TV and it just like inspired them. And then I guarantee you, the parents are the ones that are like, this is devil music. You shouldn't be doing this. This is awful. And you tell somebody no, the more they're going to want to do it. And that's probably where that comes from. They're just them being a rebellious teen.
I could definitely see that. It's like in contrast to Lalisa, where she had we're basing this off of the brief flashbacks that we got of it, but again, we're still making the assumption. In contrast to Lalisa, where it seemed that she had a loving father who taught her the guitar, Otaha could be someone who learned it by herself on her own because of an interest, and maybe it's like she had all these things afforded to her, she had all the wealth, but it didn't mean anything because she wasn't passionate about the things that her parents probably tried to drive her to. Like, we're gonna have you take piano lessons, like the typical rich people type stuff. And she probably didn't find any interest in it. She kept up appearances for, to keep the peace. But the one time she felt passionate about something was when she was able to rock out. So I could definitely see a story like that for her. And that'll be contrast in size to where Lalisa or Otaha has what Lalisa strives for, which is the money, but it's like Otaha had Lalisa had the background that Otaha would have preferred, which was to have somebody in her life who was accepting of playing this music, the commoner music of rock. So I could definitely see that.
I can also see that maybe Otaha is jealous of the fact that Lalisa is actually pretty good, and that's why she was talking her shit.
Yeah, because obviously she's not trash or whatever she was saying.
I mean, she was shredding it towards the end. She was doing solos and, like all the way towards the end. I'm like, yeah, for being rusty, that's pretty damn good. That's pretty good.
I wouldn't be surprised if Otaha got her personality from like it's like her personality comes from like a caricature of some rock artist that she's seen, and that's the way she acts. Instead of it being like this natural thing with her, it's like she's emulating something that she's seen. That's why she's so abrasive. Right,
I could see that she's like into some punk rocker or something, and just like, I'm acting like, I don't know. I know C would know more punk rockers than me, but some famous guy from like the Ramones or the Clash or whatever. Yeah, that's for sure. But it's interesting. It's different. I enjoy the music. I'm curious to see what else it could possibly do. I definitely was kind of like turned off by the last scene because I was just like, that's kind of a weird thing to do and say. But I would definitely give it another like episode or two just to see where it goes.
Sure. I thought the first episode was good, good introduction episode. But I'm wondering where exactly we're going to take this, and also if the personalities. One thing I want to go before I even go there. There was like one scene where we saw Elisa at home, and we saw not only her mother, but we saw like this pink haired girl who seemed to be jealous of her. I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's her sister, I bet.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's her stepsister, and like that's the biological daughter of the father, which her mother married into. So it'll probably be jealousy part thing with her, where it's like she's being bred to be the next heir when I'm actually the biological. Again, we're making big assumptions based on little that we've seen, but fuck it.
Right. Let's do it.
Yeah. And the last thing I wanted to say was I wonder if these girls' personality, I wonder if it's going to be a thing where they take the story where their personality and their rebellion becomes infectious for the school. Because while I'm pretty sure some girls in here probably feel the way they feel, they want to be the ideal Japanese woman. They like their traditions and everything. I'm sure there's some other people that feel the same way they do, and that they feel caged in the mold of person that they have to be. So I wouldn't be surprised if more people were become a part of this. They're not a band, but I feel like they might form a band. More people get into this circle of Lalisa and Otaha.
That's probably going to be the sister.
Really? I feel like it won't. I feel like she's just going to. I feel like with the sister, what they might do with her is she's going to find out about Lalisa,
she'll snitch,
or hold it over her head, like blackmail her or something.
Ooh, I like that one better.
Yeah,
I like that one better. Blackmail would make more sense.
Because I don't know if they go to the same school.
No, yeah, she does look younger, so you're probably right. She'll probably, I don't know, see it, hold it over her head, try to blackmail her. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One last thing. I know we keep saying one last thing, but at the very, very, very end of it all, Lalisa was like, and that's how I met my partner, Otaha.
Yeah.
What does she mean by partner? Life partner?
We got
rock guitar partner?
We got Yuri bait before.
That's what I'm saying. Yuri partner?
There's like two things. There was when she first saw her, and then they gave her the shoujo filter thing, where like this happens in like almost every shoujo when the faded MC meets their love interest, and then they have like the flowers everywhere. You see, like the pink filter and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow,
just a soft, warm glow.
Yeah, she gets the shoujo filter, and then she goes on to say, "Oh my God, she's so beautiful," and I was like, "Yeah, we're getting Yuri baited already." And then later when they're rocking out, and Otaha's guitar is overtaking, or Otaha's drums are overtaking her guitar. She has like this. They show like the symbolism of the rose thorns covering her.
Yeah,
and then
the dominatrix.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, I was like, all right, they're really going for it. Like I said, this is Kakaguri in a different format.
No wonder you picked it. You were like, I see Kakaguri, I watch Kakaguri.
I sense it. But yeah,
I sense a presence.
That is Rock is a Lady's Modesty episode 1. Moving on, it is time to talk about Shinichiro Watanabe's latest work, Lazarus, episode 1.
Lazarus. This has Shinichiro Watanabe's art, everything all over it. From the look, the music. I was able to. I watched this dub. I don't know. Did you watch a dub?
Oh yeah, of course.
I think that was the only way it was shown. But still, even if it wasn't, I was gonna watch a dub because he usually picks good dubs to do it, and it's a pretty good dub. The choreography, to be honest, didn't notice a difference because I feel like Shinichiro Watanabe always is good with choreography, but we had the guy from John Wick do the choreography, and it again, to me, it looked exactly the same. But that's not to say it's a bad thing. I enjoyed it. This whole episode flew by. Like I was enjoying it, and it before I knew it was over. I'm like, damn. But it was so good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, they definitely set the table as far as what the plot is supposed to be. But it also felt like a large part of this episode was just one big escape / fight scene. Most of it was just us following Axel and him evading the police and the group that we come to find out is named Lazarus. And I guess while I'm on that, so I heard the word Lazarus before, didn't know what the fuck it meant. I decided today to actually look it up. I was like, all right, what does this actually mean? And it refers to the Bible, of course, which I have little knowledge of, but it's in reference to the resurrection of somebody after their entombment after 4 days. So and like in the bigger picture,
like Jesus.
Yeah. Well, Jesus is the one who resurrected him. That's like one of his miracles. And so like in a bigger picture, Lazarus is supposed to be symbolic of just coming back after death, essentially. Resurrection after death. And I think that fits in with the show, given that so we learn very quickly the plot is this doctor gives out or he develops this painkiller called Hopna. And everybody's like, man, this is so fucking great.
I love this drug. So good. I want 20 of them. Stick it into my veins.
And over the course of, it's cheap and it has no side effects. And over the course of like 4 years, everybody's taking it. Everybody loves it. It is hailed as this miracle drug. And yeah, we're all happy until he comes back and he's like, oh yeah, just to let y'all know, y'all dying in 30 days.
What the fuck? It's like The Ring, except you didn't watch no videotape. You just, hey, anybody that took that drug, which is pretty much everybody, yeah, 30 days you're going to die from now. Toodles.
You got to know, like, the people...
Come again?
The people, because you know there are people like this who are like, I'm not taking drugs no matter what. No type of Benadryl, no type of anything. They're probably just looking at everybody like, I told you.
What did I told you it was too good to be fucking true. Now look at you. You're about to die in 30 days. And pretty much realistically, what happened over the world happened. Protests, riots, stock market crash. And people from school are literally like, can I go home? Yeah. The world's ending. This all seems like pointless anyway. I don't want to do school.
Yeah. Calculus means a lot less to me when the whole world is ending.
I agree with that. But yeah, everything just kind of unraveled, and again, like in Watanabe style, everything was told in the story of like basically almost kind of like newscasts where you just saw everything. It's like famous doctor this is happening, that's happening, and you basically know what's going on. You know what the whole story is just through like a compilation of like news TV articles or whatever. But yeah, so that's pretty much the story. 30 days, they have to find a cure because it's all about speed running to try to get a cure because, first of all, it's probably going to be damn near impossible to even get, like, to make a cure in 30 days because, you know, I don't know anything about like science or whatever, but I know that when it comes to like finding a cure, they have to like do a lot of tests, and that could take months, if not years. But and to find a cure, but yeah, 30 days. Not really looking good for our group, Lazarus. But it's their job to find this man, to find old Doctor Skinner. Yeah, Doctor Skinner, and we don't know where he is. All we know is that we have a ragtag group, and it kind of showed a little bit of everybody through the whole process of trying to find Axel. Because, hey Trayvon, welcome in.
What is good?
Because first we have, I'm guessing, like the leader of the Lazarus group. She's like a lawyer or head of defense or whatever she is. She's just like, Axel, heard you're a good guy. I want you to join our team. What do you think? And Axel's like, oh, go ahead.
She's what's her face from Suicide Squad.
Yeah, she's Miss I forget her name. It's a name, but that's exactly who she is. That's a good portrayal of who she's supposed to be. And yeah, essentially, Axel breaks free because that's what he likes doing. He even told her so herself. He was like, I don't stay in jail for much often. So he just like undid his wrists and just fucking fled and did his flips and shit. And
he has to have the stamina of a god.
I know, all he did was run. He's a parkour runner. He's literally just like going up to the third floor just by jumping, not even taking stairs, mind you, just jumping off ledges and on buildings and doing monkey bars over cranes. And hell, at one point he even like suicide jumps and grabs a drone and fucking, like makes it all the way down and whatnot. Yeah, he's crazy when it comes to like outrunning stuff, but when it comes to the ladies, he fails miserably.
Going with what you were saying with Axel, like being able to do all this stuff, it's so interesting because when you told me about the director of John Wick, coming together to do some of like these action sequences, it is so fitting for him and Shinichiro Watanabe to do that, because if you look at some of Shinichiro Watanabe's characters, mainly Spike and Mugen, they're characters who fight very unorthodox. They kind of use their surroundings.
Use their legs a lot.
That too. But yeah, they fight in unconventional, and they use their surrounding area to fight. And it's like that's perfect, typical John Wick shit. So it's like it is literally like thunder and lightning coming together in a perfect harmony for something.
Yeah, it's so like the choreography is so fucking good. I enjoy it. I kind of miss that when it comes to just like animation, sword fighting. Yeah, that's cool. Guns, whatever. Yeah, sure. Just regular fisticuffs, arms, feet, legs, and everything, drag downs, takedowns, I feel like is very underutilized in anime. I really love it when I see it in anime, for sure.
Yeah, because I feel like some animation, especially in modern times, a lot of people see animation as like this flashy thing. Like, think of some stuff that you see, not to say it's bad, but think of some of the stuff that you see in Demon Slayer or Fate. But a lot of times animation just looks good with great choreography and it just being fluid. Like just how the body contorts when they're doing this move, or how it looks when they throw a punch right here, instead of like just explosions and bright colors or anything like that. Like it just this whole episode was just like really fluid, and it felt as if you were watching like a live action film, but it's animated and it just looked great.
Yeah I really appreciated it and I enjoyed it. And if this is any indication of what the rest of the series is going to look like, I'm looking forward to seeing what else they're going to do, because yeah, I was highly entertained. Like I said, I wasn't bored not 1 minute when I watched it. I was like I said, but by the time it was all said and done, I was just like, it's over? No, we just started.
Yeah. So you said that in typical Shinichiro Watanabe fashion, we kind of get like the setting for these characters, and we get to see a little bit of their personalities. So our characters in Lazarus are Axel, who I'm calling Diet Spike.
I love that.
That is our I can't even say DMC, but he's the one who's getting his ass chased the entire episode. We have Leland, who is the blondie schoolboy who's like, fuck this. Why do schoolwork when we all about to die? We have Chris, who is the hot blonde lady.
On the motorcycle?
Yeah. It's the best way I can describe her. We have Doug, the black man with glasses. Gotta have one of those in the Shinichiro Watanabe anime.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we have Elena. Hope I'm saying her name right. Elena, who is the hacker girl. Again, gotta have that in the Shinichiro Watanabe.
Yeah, he loves the short hackers for sure.
I mean, this is why I obviously is going to get compared to Cowboy Bebop, given the director. But I think out of all the Shinichiro Watanabe anime, this has the closest nucleus to Cowboy Bebop, just in terms of, because he always has the sci-fi stuff, with the exception of Samurai Champloo, and Kids on a Slow too, I guess. But
yeah,
he likes the sci-fi stuff, and which we get in this anime. But I just think the ensemble cast that we have is also contributing to the comparisons of Cowboy Bebop, because they almost have like the same type of formatting. It's like, if I were to compare characters, of course, Axel, Spike, Chris, Faye, Doug, Jet, Elena,
Edward.
Leland's really the only one who doesn't fit in there, but maybe we can say Leland's the dog. I don't know.
Is Ein.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like that same makeup of the team that, the group we all came to love in Cowboy Bebop, almost reincarnated. Not saying that they are these characters or that was even the purpose. It's reminiscent of it.
Oh, for sure. Even the cover is reminiscent to Cowboy Bebop, because if you see Cowboy Bebop, it's got the colors and all the different profiles and everything. They did the exact same thing for Lazarus and all the different characters. I'm like, he has a style and he goes with it for sure. Real quick, Decrepit Storm says episode 1 was pretty cool. Considering the title, you should kill this every 3 weeks and then just keep talking about it week after like nothing.
Yeah.
Teacher. Okay, but why?
Yeah, because
go ahead.
That's what I was saying about Lazarus, is that like, given what Lazarus means, it makes sense from what we get in the show. It's because like everybody's destined to die, so it's like we're trying to get a new lease on life by finding Dr. Skinner and him bringing us back.
Yeah. Trayvon also said the first episode of Laz was great. I feel like that's pretty much the consensus. I don't think there's anybody that thought this was a bad episode. I mean, I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was very, very well animated, well voiced. The music, very jazz-like and very much reminiscent of everything that Watanabe likes to do. And I'm just curious to see what happens from here, because now, essentially, Axel is a part of Lazarus, not by choice, because he's got the little wrist band thing on him now. But I'm sure we're going to get a debrief of what all the characters are in the next episode. We're going to see all their quirks and what they do, what their specials are, what essentially their mission is and what they're going to try to do. Obviously, yes, the goal is to try to find Dr. Skinner, get a cure. Also loved at the very end of the episode how it says 29 days left.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Watanabe likes to put things in the bottom corner, see a space cowboy, things of that nature. Everything's just pointing to his signature when it comes to this damn anime, and I love it. But yeah, it's just curious to see what happens. Great shit. I mean, I know that we didn't really talk much about it, but like I said, you kind of said it earlier. This whole episode was just like a big chase scene.
I'm very interested to see what opening we get because we saw the ending.
Oh yeah, we did.
The ending was really great because we saw like everybody dead seemingly from the drug.
Very foreboding.
Yeah, taking course and everything. So that ending was pretty great. But I'm very excited to see what we get from the opening. But one thing I wanted to say as far as it comes to this big plot of Dr. Skinner and everything. So I want to ask you, do you believe Dr. Skinner and him saying, yeah, you guys are going to die in 30 days? Because I have some reason to doubt that I have some reason to doubt that.
I mean, there is always that in the back of your mind. It seems too formulaic for like a villain. I'm an evil villain. Oh, you'll die in 30 days. It almost feels like maybe there's some ulterior motives behind it. Like, what else? Why would you say that unless you wanted to cause panic and you wanted to have the stock market crash and you wanted to kind of like make the economy shit by saying all that stuff? I'm thinking maybe it's one of those things where it's not really people dying, but he's trying to create chaos just to crash the economy and do something, I don't know, for ulterior motives where he gets more money. I don't know. Because I agree with you. I think that would be just too basic. I'm going to kill a bunch of people. Why? Or just because,
Well, here's the thing, because he gives his reasons for why he's doing what he's doing, and to make it short, he's essentially testing humanity. He goes, "Yeah, I figured out that humanity kind of fucking sucks, so I kind of want to get rid of y'all. So, and I think this is going to be good for the planet. So, anybody who took my drugs is going to die." Yeah. So he says he's testing humanity, and I think the one reason I think there's two reasons I doubt this, but one reason I think this might not be true is because he can test humanity without the need to kill them, because like you said, things are already moving in a way that's dooming humanity without a single person dying from this drug, because the threat of termination from everybody is going to make humanity move in a way that can implode on itself. Like you said, we're already seeing stock market crashing. We're seeing riots happen. Doomsday cults are taking over, and so we're seeing stuff like that. So he doesn't need anybody to die for, again, humanity to implode on itself, because again, the threat of death will do that to humanity. The other reason I think this might not be true, and this is just like the practicality speaking to me, if they find him, how the fuck do they make the cure and then distribute it to everybody on the planet in less than 30 days? That is impossible. There's no way.
You'd literally have to be the Flash in order to like distribute that cure. No. Yeah, I agree.
Like, even if he says, okay, they get all the world leaders together and they go, okay, this is how you make it. Everybody, distribute this to your country. It's still, no matter what, millions of people would die, because that would be impossible to distribute. It's not enough time. is not enough time. Like, think about how many people got vaccinated and how long it took for people to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about a vaccination.
Yeah.
For
sure.
I can't see it. I can't see it. And it's going to be less than 30 days. So it's already less than 30 days.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some ulterior motives when it comes to this. Don't know what they are. Don't know what it could possibly be. I mean, it could go completely left field and just say aliens or something. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Also, I mean, I've known this for a while, but Shinichiro Watanabe confirmed that pretty much all of his things that he's ever made are all in the same universe. So while this is happening here on, I think it's Earth, on Mars, Carol and Tuesday are singing their songs and everything, and years down the line, Cowboy Bebop happens, and I don't know. Just stuff like that's always interesting, just to think that everything's in the same universe.
Yeah. Shit, it was something else I wanted to say. God damn it, Satsuki. Start remembering stuff. Oh, I feel there's another theory based on what we're seeing. I feel that Dr. Skinner's already dead. That's just the feeling I get.
It's just a pre-recorded message.
Yeah, just because they said that he disappeared a year before, and now all of a sudden he comes back. And again, I'm doubtful that this drug is going to kill everybody. Just because, again, if they find him, for them to explain how the hell they would make the cure for everybody in the world and distribute it to every that is impossible. Like, mind you, let's say we find him and there's like 10 days left. Okay, now we got to relay this information to everybody. That's going to take a day. Now everybody has to make the cure. Okay. Now everybody has to give it to everybody in the world? No, hell no. That's not working.
It's going to be tough unless, I don't know, they do some kind of like airborne fucking thing. Just go outside and breathe the fumes. Just do it that way.
Yeah, unless it's something like, unless it's something that somebody can just do. Like, I don't know, like maybe it's like, just press your nose 3 times and then you won't die. Unless it's something like
your
that.
Nose, and then the vaccine will come out your nose.
Unless it's something stupid like that, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but it's gonna be interesting. The Cure is listening to Carol and Tuesday's Miracle. I swear to God, if that happens at the end of the episode, can you feel me? I'm gonna be happy, but also a little upset.
No, that'll be a troll.
He's like, I said it's all in the same universe, right? Well, there they go. They sing the song.
Oh my God.
That's the Cure.
We just see Carolyn Tuesday, and then somebody goes, are you here to save us? And then they go, why do you think I came all this way?
Oh my God. And then the fucking Game of Thrones memes start happening, and they just look right into the camera and they just go, fuck you.
But I think I agree with the Crepustorm Storm. The cast seems pretty cool so far. I am very interested to see more from everybody. In fact,
yeah,
I think Leland's the only character that I look at. I'm like, but everybody else.
I mean, he just was kind of there.
Yeah,
he didn't really do much.
Yeah, he just had the gadgets, but everybody else super interested in. Chris, Doug, Lena, Axel seem like very cool characters. Even the Suicide Lady, Hirsch, I think that was her name.
I'll go with Hirsch. Yeah,
interested in her as well. But that is it. No, the real cure is fucking bullshit. Fucking bullshit.
Fucking bullshit.
Holy
Son of a
shit.
bitch, fucker. Son of a motherfucking bitch. I still think of that. Oh,
great moment.
fantastic.
Time to talk about our last show. Episode 1 of Future Diary.
New Nakama Club.
Yep. We're here. I still haven't come up with a name for this, so it is just let's just call it negative Nakama Club right now.
Negative Naki.
Enemy Club, I don't know.
Yeah. The why the fuck are we doing this club? But okay. First episode of Future Diary. I'm gonna be straight up and honest with you. For a first episode, it's actually not bad.
Oh,
it's actually pretty damn good. For a first episode to get you hooked and wanting to know what happens next, it's actually really good. Like, I was impressed. I was like, wow, it does everything that you would want an anime or a TV show in that matter to do, to basically just get you hooked after the first episode. And they did everything right. I liked it.
So it was some things that I looked at and I go, where I'm kind of like seeing some of the cracks in the show already. But I agree with you. In a vacuum, I think this episode, like, not knowing anything, because I'm, my opinions are coming from my, my knowledge of what happens in future events of the series.
Sure.
In a vacuum, though, I think this episode was a good starter episode. Definitely could get you hooked because, people love death battles. That's the foundation of the plot of the story. We see a character who's seemingly obsessed with this other character. We're like, why are you obsessed with them? We have future diaries. That in itself is cool. Everybody's vying for the power of a god. What the fuck? A lot happens that would make you go, okay, I need to watch more of this. And as a first episode, that is what you need to do. Damn everything else. As a first episode, your job is to make people go, okay, what happens next? Future Diaries first episode did his job. There's more to talk about with some of the things that I don't like about it, but as a first episode, Future Diary absolutely did his job.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It set the stage. Question, did you watch this dubbed or subbed?
I watched it dubbed.
You did watch it dubbed. Okay. Cool. I did too. I couldn't remember if we agreed or not. But so I was like, yeah, I think it was dubbed. Anyway, the one who plays Deus Ex Machina or whatever his name is, same voice of Father. It's basically Father as a demigod. I'm like, man, he's typecasted in everything he does now.
He has to be a god every time.
Yeah, it's like, I am here and this is the world. Equivalent. Oh, sorry, wrong show. This is the world where it's a battle royale and you get to be me at the end of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, first of all, who wants that job? Who wants that fucking job?
That's something we're going to talk about much later with this series. But yeah. Okay. So the actual opening of the show is part of why I say
the opening.
Like, well, no, not the opening song. Like the actual how this show just.
Oh,
because
my bad.
There's like this mystery, and we don't know what the fuck is going on from a first episode perspective. We see Yuki dead. Saying, "Are you kidding?" And then we get to another scene, and then Yuno's calling out to her parents, and then we see a cage, and everything's dark, so we can't really see anything. And then the next thing we see is somebody goes to kill Yuno, and then Yuno's, is crying out Yuki's name before she dies, question mark. So like that beginning of it, again, I know what is going on because obviously I've seen this series and I still remember some things, but very mysterious. Don't know what the fuck is going on. Another part of the pull with the show is that mystery, because
For sure.
you might be like, "Yo, what happened in the beginning? I saw all of this, but if I remember the beginning, why did that happen?" Like, that'll sit in your mind. So, good show, good stuff for the show.
Yeah, it reminded me of Higurashi a lot because Higurashi does that quite a bit, where there's just a bunch of weird shit happening and then you kind of piece it all together. But I watched the anime first before I even found out that it was based off a video game that had multiple choices, and that's kind of why things were the way that they were. For an anime, it's pretty fucking good, and I'm talking about the first one, the only one that's really good. Oh, well, the second season's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Broccoli. But
What was the question she asked her? When she was like
like, how do you say broccoli?
No,
I think
she was like, which is green or something like that, or which was, I don't know, it was like some shit like that. Which is green, which is a plant, which is a vegetable, something. Broccoli. Correct.
Broccoli, and she's like, correct, and shoots her point blank in the face.
I used to love Mio as a villain. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But I didn't watch any other Higurashi stuff because after that, it just got fucking weird. First and second season are great. Everything else after that, especially the one that you saw, I'll never watch it. I'll just base it off of what you saw, what you said. And then the stuff that you showed me that was in it, I was like, whoa. I didn't think it could get worse.
Ugh.
Yeah, but that's what it reminded me of with all that weird random shit, because I just got the vibes of Higurashi when it came to that. And then it kicks into the opening, which, I mean, for a shitty show, the opening, like, you can kind of like pull it out. Like, if they're name that anime tune, you could pretty much pull it out and go, oh, that's Future Diary.
Yeah.
Because of the way that it plays at the beginning, and then it just kicks in with the guitar, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's Future Diary.
Visuals are great for it too. I like the colors they went for, the red, the black, and the white, gray.
Yeah,
it works with the with the whole death game thing that they're going for. Opening, love the song, love the visuals for it. So, yeah,
everything's pointing in the right direction. What happened?
we're going to talk about some things. We did get a question. We kind of already answered Vash's question, so I'm going to go to Trayvon's question. He said, "What movie or TV show would make a great anime?"
Movie or TV show would make a great anime. I always felt like Predator would be a fantastic anime. Just wow, and just the color scheme whenever they look in the infrared and whatnot would look fucking great. And if they did it right, yeah, I think they could like pull it off. I mean, they did it for Terminator. They could do it again for Predator. I think that would be a cool movie that you could adapt into anime.
I gotta think about that more. About that more. I have something in mind, but I wanna get a little bit more thought. The Crepper Storm says, I haven't seen any of these shows on the poll. Would be interesting to give this a try. The first episode was pretty gripping, though I'm not sure of some things. All right.
So where did you see that question?
Oh, it was it's a part of. I don't think you can see it, EA, unless you can see you're on the KOA page, are you?
Yeah, I'm on the live stream and whatnot, but I remember C saying if you hit end, all of it clears, so I don't want to do that.
So I can so maybe I can only see it because I'm hosting a stream, but like I can see the
Interesting.
questions.
Okay.
So like
Okay.
you know where the thing says the live chat, like where you can change it from top chat to live chat.
Yeah.
There's a tab for questions for me on that.
Oh, there they are. Okay. No, I could see it too.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Sorry. Now I know. And don't hit end. That's what I remember from C, because he was like, I had all these questions and I hit end and they all disappeared.
But
Anyway,
so
continue.
we start out or we continue to, I guess, the present, and we see Yuki, and you know, he's a nerd, or he's friendless.
Fucking nerd. And his beanie and his phone, little bitch.
Yeah, because some guys try to invite him to play basketball with them because they need a team, and they're like, "Oh no, not him! He just is on his
Pick him.
phone all day." And then we see Yuki. He just makes a diary. He logs like everything that he sees, no matter how mundane
weird.
it is. Not kinda. He's just full on fucking weird. I think that's perfectly fine to say. Yeah, that's weird.
I mean, it's like, what did you do? I breathed in, I breathed out, I ate a sandwich, took a shit.
And that's literally how it is. I can understand like making a diary of some eventful things or things that affected you
Met a hot
emotionally.
girl today.
Something. But he literally just takes laws of like, oh, I saw a rock. I went right to avoid the rock. Ha ha ha! Sure got him. And I was like, wait, what
It's so
the fuck?
stupid.
What are you doing exactly? And then
Ha ha ha! They got me.
And then he like narrate, because he's narrating this, and he's like, "No, I actually have friends. They're just imaginary." And I go, and then he pulls the cover. Well, I want to say, it's less cringe when you realize he's a middle schooler, because it may be more cringe thinking he's like high school age or something like that, but it's a little less cringe because he's like 14 years old. Cool, still fucking weird, but. You know, he pulls
Chinubio.
Yeah. He pulls the cover over his head and he's like, all right, let me talk to my buddies. And Deus Ex Machina is there. It is pretty sad. Deus Ex Machina is there. He's like, welcome. And then he has the Hawaiian midget known as Murmur there. And she's fucking with him. And yeah, those are his buddies apparently. And he
Fantastic.
Yeah. The best friend group you could ask for. A god and a Hawaiian midget.
Oh boy. I'm just rolling in friends. My life is so fucking happy. The Grubber Storm says 11:55 EA blinks, 11:56 Satsuki breeze.
Yeah, this is literally how it is too. And what makes it worse is he's not even on a BlackBerry. He's on a flip phone typing his shit. Do you remember how annoying it was to text on those things? You got to type or press 4 buttons to put in an S. Oh fuck.
Yeah. There was one where I feel like it was like, usually it was like the equivalent for like 3 letters, you know, like 1, 2, 3, 4, but I forget what keypad it was, but there was one where it was like 4, and I feel like it was always the last one that you needed to go, like it was an S, like you said, like you would just like S T. Yeah, I hated doing that, but that's what we were used to back then because we didn't know no better.
Yeah, but it's like I said, that's why. I mean, I feel like that contributed to why we came up with stuff like LOL and stuff like that, because it's like, especially with the phone, it's like you got to type shorter because if you try to type out everything, you're going to be there for a long ass time.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Crepustorm says he must be taking imaginary friends seriously. He's actually seeing and hearing them. Okay. This is the part where it's like, all right, what's going on here? I was gonna save that, but since you brought it up, Decrepit Store, I'm gonna talk about it. So he says these are imaginary friends, and seemingly by the way he's talking about it, he's been seeing them before. I mean, they're having conversations like he's been here, they've known each other for a whole year or something. So it's like, okay, he sees them as imaginary, but they're not imaginary. So how the fuck does that work exactly? Are they real, or is that they're in his head and then eventually they just become real? Or because
Cuckoo.
Murmur gives an explanation for it, and then she goes, her explanation is, he's the god of time and space. He can go wherever he damn well please. And I go, bitch, that doesn't answer my question.
You know what? I can accept that. No further questions asked. My God. And didn't in that same interaction, Deus Ex Machina was just like, you're going to see the future tomorrow. And Yuki was like, you're funny.
Yeah.
And then he just goes to sleep. and then when he wakes up and all this shit was happening, like he predicted, like all the future stuff was happening, he was like, what's going on? He told you it would happen. Why are you acting like this is a shock?
Well, yeah, because it took a lot of different things to happen, because he's like, yeah, no way this is real. Because I mean, it makes sense, because he's like, these are imaginary friends. Why would I have a fucking phone that tells me my future? That doesn't make any fucking sense. And he actually gets it. So, okay. Do I want to go here yet? Because this is one of my big issues.
I thought John was my imaginary friend before I found out he was part of KOA.
He manifested in the podcast.
he just became there. I was joking.
Okay, so I'll save my big thing for later, because I feel like we have to talk about more before we get there. So, in the process of him getting the future diary, because Deus Machina gives him the power, he gets, he's seeing the future. He's hitting bullseyes on the dartboard. He's seeing the news.
That's weird.
And he uses it to ace his test or his exam, which, why the fuck or how the fuck is he using his phone while taking the exam?
Right? I thought Japan's really strict when it comes to like phones being used in class. I know that. But I mean, I guess you could say technically it's supposed to be the same, like anywhere else and whatnot. But yeah, he's just over there sitting in the back, just like. And the teacher's sitting in the front. He's not like looking at this man, going, "Hey, stop that! Put that phone away."
I'm just like, there's no way he took this entire exam looking at. He's not even hiding the well. He's just like.
I know, it's not even like under the table. He's not doing the whole, if you like put your head on the desk and you're just looking under and you're like doing something like that. He's not even doing that. He's like, the phone is literally right here and he's just like writing it down. Yeah, just nothing. And he does that multiple times.
Yeah. Not a big deal, of course. But what I found, because something hilarious came out of that, which was he aces it. He gets a 500. We also see that is like the second smartest, or really the smartest student, if you want to be technical, since I'm assuming she didn't cheat. He aces the test, gets a perfect score, and this heats everybody in the school the fuck up. I've never seen a reaction like this. He aces that test, and everybody treats it like it's Armageddon. Like, no fucking way. Yuki Teru Amano got a fucking 500. Where is he? I'm beating his ass after school. Like,
dude, we gotta get him. We gotta get him.
What the fuck did he do to make everybody this mad?
He's affecting the order of things. Why? What did he do? He scored a perfect score on his test. And why is this a big... It's a big fucking deal. Trust me.
The way people were
This
talking
will
about
not
his,
stand.
they were talking behind his back. It was like, oh, he thinks he's all that. And then they showed him, and then he was just walking to class. I was like, he's not even bragging.
He's all that. Look at him standing there minding his own fucking business.
I was like, what?
Look at him.
I'm like, does everybody have their own like imaginary friend reality where they're seeing like an evil Yuki or something, like laughing at them and flicking them off because he got a 500 or something? Ah, in your face, bitch. What?
All right, we gotta. I was waiting for them to say we gotta kill him. What? Don't you think that's a little extreme? No, he scored a 500. Everybody bring your butcher knives, and after school, just start hacking away at his body.
These are like.
Do you think that's extreme?
These are this is like only a school that Stephen King could think of. These are like this is straight out of the Carrie movie.
Yeah, you're right.
They literally just plan to jump him after school because he aced the test. I was in disbelief. I was like, wait, what? This makes no sense.
And he dodged them all because of that future diary that he has.
Yeah.
And I just love some of the reactions like, hey, where is he? I don't know. He normally comes through here. And they just...
Oh my God.
They just waited to jump him for scoring a perfect score. Why would delinquents give a fuck? They don't do good in tests anyway.
It was even like a nerd who needed the ace to test for some stupid reason or something. He was literally like yeah, it was the jocks. They were prepared to jump me. Why did they care that much?
We score average. You're making us look bad.
I think you were
Some
right.
of us below.
I think you were right on the money, EA. I think it's because he messed up the hierarchy or something. It's like he was supposed to always be at the bottom, so they were like, no, we can't allow this.
Yeah, I know. He talks to that one smart guy. He's like, hey, you did pretty good on the test. He's like, yeah, I did. And then he just kind of makes a face and gets mad and then walks out.
What?
Oh, okay, that was a thing. That was a fucking thing. My God. Yeah. Just weird shit like that would just makes you think, is that a normal response?
Probably not.
Probably not. That happens a lot in the series. Is that a normal response? No. But that's I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Future Diary.
Yeah.
For sure. We haven't even got to the good part yet.
Well,
the introduction of Miss Thing, Miss Pink.
You know, Gasai. Yeah.
Yes, you know.
So,
who is an icon in her own self.
Yeah, she's the I'm not saying she's like the first yandere. I think this has been stated. This has been stated to me before. That the first yandere actually comes from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Really?
I think her name is I want to say her name is Yukako. That's what people told me. I don't know if that's true. Is her name Yukako? Yes, it is.
Interesting.
Yukako.
Let me see that. JoJo Yukako. Ah. Okay, yeah, I think I remember this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is from, well, I guess you could say like the manga predates the anime.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Interesting. Okay, huh. Cool. Didn't know that.
But she's one of the quintessential yandere characters. I would say the most iconic yandere character that we've seen. You know, because we got a couple yandere characters in anime history, but I feel like had success that no one has saw. She's one of the most popular anime characters in general.
For sure.
So we see she's introduced to us, and we see her looking back at Yuki as he's cheating on his exam, and he's like, "What the fuck does she know?" And then he's like, "Oh no way she knows."
I mean, of course she knows. You're doing this.
And then he goes by her desk because she makes like this like clay model thing, and she makes a model of Murmur. And then when he sees that, he's like, "Oh no, she knows."
How does she know these things?
But my thing would be, if he believed them to be imaginary friends, how would from his perspective, how would Yuno know them?
Right. It wouldn't make any sense. That would be one of those things where you're just like, wait a minute. I thought I was the only one that knew these guys.
Yeah. Well, not that it matters that much anyways, because Yuki is being hunted after by a Future Diary user named as Third.
He got dead-ended.
Yeah. And seemingly, is trying to help him. That's why she follows him everywhere around town. And eventually,
with that wonderful look on her face, don't run. I want to help you. Bitch, get away from me. First of all, what a reaction when he first saw her. He just runs away. To be fair, he didn't know that she was a psycho at the point. So when like he sees her right away, he's just like, normal reaction, just bolts it, just to run away.
I feel like this is the most aligned I'm going to be with Yuki, because he's completely weirded out by and I'm like, wow, makes a lot of sense, because I feel like some MCs in the same situation might do the whole thing where they're like, oh, but she's hot or something, and then kind of like excuse some of her actions, but immediately he
smells so good.
Yeah, he's like, fuck no, I'm out. This bitch is weird.
She smells like onions. I'm going out. I'm leaving away.
I was like, props to Yuki for like just trying to nope it out of there. But Yuno's persistent. Even steals a kiss from him because reasons. And then she reveals
that so random. Like he's just no. I'm here to help you, smooch, in the elevator.
Before that, he was about to throw a fucking dart at her forehead.
Don't do it. I got a bullseye this morning. Don't think I won't do it again.
We both know that you're not going to do that, Yuki. I know everything about you. See?
And this is where the show ends. I know you won't do anything. Right through the throat, and then the show ends right there. Roll credits.
Yeah, because then Third would have killed him. But
and then you just hear,
she reveals her diary, which gives her information about Yuki in 10-minute intervals, which is terrifying.
He took a shit around this time. He masturbated around this time.
He was looking for the right porno for a whole hour. She just sees all the sites he goes on the 10-minute intervals. Huh.
He went down his pats, scratched his nuts, and then sniffed his hands at this.
Yeah, that's super embarrassing.
Yeah, she would literally just know everything this man did, everything he ate, every time he whacked it. Oh, poor Yuki.
Yeah. The Crevice Storm says, was the only thing I really knew about the show going into it. I see. Yeah, she's one of those characters that's kind of she supersedes the show. There are a lot of characters like that where you may not know the show, seen anything of them, seen anything in it, but you still know of the character because they're that prominent. Yuno's one of those characters.
Yuno's one of those characters. Pretty much every girl from Rent a Girlfriend, because nobody gives a shit about the main dude. Nico, Nico, Nico.
Yeah,
Yep.
Nico's one of those characters too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So Yuno's like, no, I'm not actually crazy. I'm just here to help you. The only thing crazy about me is I'm crazy in love with you.
Huh?
Oh, you don't feel the same?
No, I don't even know you, girl.
Well, you will. Trust me. I can see your diary.
Well, can we just be friends first?
I'm not feeling it.
I mean, I need an adult.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Like he's just making her super uncomfortable. But she's like, "Look, that guy over there is trying to kill you." And we didn't mention that. We saw a random guy
Oh
kill
yeah,
a random woman.
yeah. She was like, "No, I'm not ready to die," and then just wonderful blood splatter.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so another future diary user is trying to kill Yuki for whatever reason, and he chases Yuki, and Yuno comes up with the plan along with Yuki to destroy his phone, because one thing that we learned is that the phones are connected to someone's life. So you can kill someone straight up, of course, still, but if you destroy somebody's phone, that can also kill them. So
Question: what happens if your phone dies? Like literally the battery life.
I feel that because it's magical, it won't die anymore.
Oh, okay.
That's
I was gonna say, is
probably
that gonna be one of those plot holes where it's like, if the battery's like low and you're just like, oh no, it's gonna die. Does that mean I'm gonna die and get warped into my phone or whatever? Because he got warped into the.
We don't know exactly, but I will say, just because, and this is kind of spoiling some things, but we know with some of the other diaries that we see in the show, they're not exclusive to phones. So given that, I can't imagine that they would be limited in battery, because if that were the case, then yeah, things would just get really wacky with the show.
Even more so.
Yeah.
Wacky.
So they come up with a plan. Yuno sets her phone somewhere and takes a video and like FaceTimes Yuki, which makes me go,
it's a flip phone.
How are you doing this? How are you
that technology
FaceTiming?
Did not exist.
How are you FaceTiming somebody? Why does it look way clearer than the current technology I have?
Fucking A. I have an Android, and goddamn, that's crystal clear for a flip phone. That should be all pixelated and shit. I mean, yeah, you could record stuff on your flip phone. God, do I remember? Yeah. And I still have those, and they look like absolute ass. They were like, what, 1 pixel? You feel like, because everything's like, like 1080p, 1 pixel. I'm going to record. Yeah, weird. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. That was kind of like convoluted for sure.
Yeah, ignoring that though, they use that to see whenever he uses his phone, because he's looking for them on a rooftop. He can't find them. He's like, fuck, where are they? So he looks at his diary to see that, and Yuki takes that opportunity because his weakness is exposed, and shoots a dart at his phone, and then he goes full Uzumaki and dies.
Dude is literally great with darts. He needs to go to like a bar and like take bets. He clean house. Yeah. Just boom. He's good with his darts. So, and that kind of like goes to show, because his whole wall is just decorated in like dartboards.
Yeah, he has like 3 dartboards in a row in his room.
I feel like he's got more than that.
Maybe. But after Yuki and Yuno brutally kill third, the third future diary holder guy. Dad says
Thing.
Machina decides to have a conference call with all the other future diary holders and explain all the rules of the future diary and what's going
Here are
on.
the rules.
And this is where I have my issue. That doesn't make any fucking sense. This is why.
But Satsuki, I want to be the very best and take over for Deus Ex Machina and be him.
This is why it doesn't make sense. He makes it seem like this is the first time that... okay, so this is the first time they're all meeting. Cool. My question would be, did he explain all of this to them prior? Because if so, why the fuck did he explain that to Yuki? Mind you,
I know.
everybody seemed to be on the uptake. So it is implied that they've had this conversation with everybody else. How and when, we don't know. But seemingly they had this conversation with everybody else about them getting the future diary, them explaining the rules and everything. But Yuki's the only one that seems to be in the dark, which makes no sense considering it's a death game. How can you not inform him of something? You literally just... this was the basis of how he gets his power. Hey, bro. Wouldn't it be cool if you got like a future diary? What the fuck are you talking about? You're getting it.
And to be fair, if we are to include the after credits scene at the very end as well, apparently these imaginary friends go up to random people and say, hey, do you want to play a game? Here's a phone. And they didn't do that same thing to Yuki.
That's my issue. I'm just like, okay, everybody seems to understand what this is because everybody's congratulating Yuki for killing Third, and everybody's seems sadistic based on the words they're saying. They're all gung-ho to kill each other and everything and do this. But I'm like, okay, how did Yuki only survive this due to Yuno? Because if it wasn't for Yuno, he would have just died without
100.
even knowing what the fuck he was in. It seemed like he wasn't even wiser to what this game was, but everybody else seemed to know exactly what to do, how things work. He didn't know what a dead end was on his phone. How was that not explained to him? That makes no sense to me. It seemed like that was only done to make the audience be surprised by the events that happened in this episode. But I was like, that doesn't work when everybody except him knows this. It's not as if he had rules to this whole thing and he just didn't read them. No, he just didn't tell him. Which makes me go, okay, you knew this guy for how long? Because you've been in his imagination for I don't know how long, and you just decided not to tell him that.
Oops, slipped my mind. Oopsie poopsie.
Like, I understand he didn't believe it at first, but they literally showed the end credits where Third was breaking his phone and killing himself because he didn't believe or he didn't want evidence of his crimes being documented in the future diary. So if you explain to him a fucking serial killer how the rules work, how come he didn't get the explanation? And how come did the death game start as soon as he got his? It's like, all right, we're going to get the novices shit, not tell him anything. It'll be fucking great. Like it's Impractical Jokers or some shit.
Yeah, I know. Is it okay? So give him a future diary and then give him a death end. Okay, now come after him with a hatchet. Oh God. Okay, Yukino, or you go ahead and give him a kiss. Apply him a big fat kiss. Oh my God, this shit's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like they were just toying with his life. Like they just used him as a guinea pig for someone to get their first kill.
I just loved after that whole exchange from all the other players too. They were like, "We're gonna keep a good eye on you, Yuki. We're coming for you, Hogan. Oh yes, we're gonna tap that." Just every insult in the book. And I'm just like, and also Yuki's just like, I didn't do shit. I didn't know this shit until like 5 minutes ago.
I love in the conference call that the question gets asked, okay, we got to kill each other, but how do we know somebody's a future diary holder? And essentially Deus Ex Machina goes, you'll know, or that's your job to find out. And I go, why does everybody have the most distinct silhouettes I've ever seen in my fucking life? And you know they're not going to change outfits because they're anime characters.
Correct. They all look like something you would see in Danganronpa. You know, like everyone is just such a unique outline to where whenever you could just be walking down just any kind of corridor and you'd be like, I remember that silhouette. Turn around.
Exactly. Like Yuki immediately recognized, of course he saw his face, so it's easy to put face to silhouette. But I'm like, even with her, she's kind of clear. It's kind of clear to see. To the point where it's like, if you see one of these characters once in real life, you'll probably know exactly who the fuck it was if you memorize their silhouettes. It is that easy to pin them down. And like I said, they're anime characters, so they're not going to change up anything that they wore for that conference meeting. You know they're wearing the same outfit.
100%. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, definitely a lot of just weird gobbledygook. This fucking conference call, and then the conference call ends, and we, of course, get the iconic, just possessed, holding her face, just look of yandere, just, I'm here to protect you, Yuki. And I've seen that face everywhere, like just plastered, just any which way. It's an iconic look. I will definitely give you that.
Yep.
But that's where essentially the episode ends, and it does. Like I said, it does its job. You're left wanting to know what the fuck else is going to happen. Do we like where this is going? Kind of in hindsight, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, we're definitely in for now, and I think the weirdness is going to be turned up a lot after this for sure.
You think?
Just a smidge.
That remains to be seen. But yeah, agree. I think this first episode was good. Even though I had some gripes here and there, I don't think anything I said, except for the thing about Yuki not being informed, I did think that was an actual issue. The other things I'm talking about are not really in detriment to the episode itself. In a vacuum, the episode hooked you, and that's all you can really ask out of a first episode. So we'll see if they can continue this this streak of good faith.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next, boy howdy.
I'm ready. I'm ready to see the other future diary holders and how exactly Yuki is going to navigate against these guys.
Do you think Yuno and Yuki are like confirmed? Like you ship them, right?
Oh yeah. Who wouldn't ship this couple?
I mean, they just have such great chemistry together.
Yuno loves Yuki, obviously, and Yuki seems to love Yuno. At least in my eyes.
Yeah.
He didn't fight back against that kiss, so he has.
Yeah. He didn't reject it. He was just like, "All right, that's my first kiss."
Oh man. Yeah, that is it for Future Diary. So now we are moving on to Oops, wrong thing. We're moving on to questions. So
viewer questions.
We have 2 viewer questions this time going around. Let me make sure there's nothing in the chat as well. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see anything. It was just those 2, so
okay. I
think we're good. I don't think there's gonna be any more questions. I think I can stop this.
First question is, KOA is going up against the Catch Me Outside girl, EDP 445, James Charles. What's the matchup?
Wait, who's James Charles?
It's like some. Is he racist? He's something.
Oh. No, he's I don't know much about him, but he's just like some YouTuber that does makeup or whatever.
No, I think
he's gay. If it's talking about the same, because I just typed in James Charles and that's what popped up.
Yeah, no,
This is a different one.
I know who that is, but I'm like, because obviously they're saying like controversial people, right? So I'm pretty sure James Charles said some racist shit, or either racist or like transphobic, something of the sort.
Yeah, something bad.
But what are the matches going to be to bring KOA victory in the battle of boxing? I'm not going to lie, I don't think any of these people can box. Maybe the Catch Me Outside girl can box. She's the only one I'll probably put money on to be able to box.
Yeah. What's the matchups that will bring KOA the victory?
I feel like we all could beat any one of them. I'm not gonna lie.
For sure.
I think we all
EDP is 400 pounds and he'll tire himself out. And then from that point, he'll just drop his guard and you just jab the face and he's done. I don't know anything about James Charles, but I'm assuming, I don't know if he's like physically fit or can box or whatever, but I'm assuming you beat him up too.
He is 5'9".
Okay, so he's shorter. And then Catch Me Outside girl, I feel like she's like tiny. I feel like she would get destroyed by any one of us.
I mean, so I would prefer not to fight a woman. So
no,
I don't think any of us would, honestly.
No, we'll give that to John.
Oh, John! Yeah, John's eager. Oh, I've been working.
I've been waiting to prove myself to the KOA crew.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think there would be any matchups. I'll beat up EDP though. I'll do it.
Yeah, you go ahead, knock him out. Like I said, you'll just tire. He'll tire himself out because he's fat fuck. Yeah, he'll go down real easy, and then yeah, I guess I'll. You know what? See tactics. James Charles. he's not here to defend himself. So he's just gonna kick his ass.
Okay. The next question we get is, what's the character that everyone knows is gay but has never been confirmed?
Oh wow.
My definition would be, what do you mean by confirmed? Because people confirm things in different ways. I feel like sex or a kiss doesn't need to happen for something to be confirmed, or even like a explicit confession. Because if we're going in that sense, like all of those things that I named, a character that everyone knows is gay but has never been confirmed, I would say Homura from Madoka Magica.
It's a good one.
Like, yeah,
she loves Madoka.
Yeah, has she ever said that? No, not that I can think of. Has she ever kissed Madoka? No. So yeah, it wouldn't be confirmed in that sense, but I feel like the show itself kind of confirms her love for her, if that makes sense. So I don't know how we're defining confirmed, because again, people confirm it in different ways. But if we're saying it in the form of no kiss, no sex, no confession, then I would say Homura.
Okay. For me, The Simpsons, Waylon Smithers. He's gayer than gay, but it's never really said in The Simpsons. You know, the one that watches after Mr. Burns, but it's obvious he's gay. I don't think, again, I don't watch New Simpsons. I'm just basing it off of the stuff I grew up watching. It was always implied, but it was never like shown. And then there's that gif of him, you know, at a strip club surrounded by girls, and he's just like, yeah, shit like that's funny. And another one, Gus Fring. In Breaking Bad, there was always like maybe he's gay because of that, his friend that got killed, and he looks so incredibly like upset by it, but like more so than regular. But then in Better Call Saul, it's very much confirmed because they kind of like show it.
Yeah,
but in Breaking Bad, it was just kind of implied.
Yeah, see, like I was going to say, like I feel that would have been something that's confirmed, but again, I don't know what definition of confirmed this question is being asked because, in that sense, yeah, it wasn't confirmed in it being explicitly stated, but yeah, I mean, he's gay.
Yeah, for sure. But as far as anime characters, I don't know. I don't think Puri Puri Prisoner is gay at all.
You don't think so?
No, he definitely is. And it's confirmed.
Oh my god, he is. I hate that guy.
Oh man, but no, those are mine. I don't think there's any other questions, but that is it for the show. We had a nice over 3-hour stream. Ooh. I mean, they're usually pretty long when it comes to season premieres in this spring season. And just wait. If you thought this season or this episode was long, wait till next week where we have even more anime to discuss.
You know what's funny, Ye? Next podcast is going to be shorter.
You think so?
I think this podcast was this long because of FMA. And also, we had to talk about first episodes, which kind of like makes things a little longer just because we had to kind of set the table and things like that. Because, for example, I think we're going to talk. I think Future Diaries we're probably going to be the same or longer. I think Lazarus might be shorter. I think Rock is a Modesty. Ladies Modesty is definitely going to be shorter, and an FMA is going to be shorter.
Yeah, with it last episode.
Yeah. So then, when we add in those other shows, I think the podcast length is going to be probably at 3 hours.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens next week. But dropped in the chat our Blue Sky for whenever we go live. We have a Patreon that we have. We've been talking about adding more stuff to the Patreon. I think we're finally going to go ahead and just do that. Some things that have been brought up is SpongeBob and amongst other things like the SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do something. Let's make an agreement now. What do you want to do for the next Patreon? And then
I think the SpongeBob SquarePants movie would be perfect to talk about. Since it's over 20 years old, and I mean, I know we just missed the 20-year anniversary, but I mean, come on, SpongeBob.
When are you available?
Probably by towards the end of this week.
Okay.
I don't know about your availability.
Do you think we can get in the call and watch SpongeBob, and then later at a later date do a podcast on it?
I think that would be great.
Okay,
that would be fantastic. You're gonna like do one in your Discord and invite a bunch of people?
Yeah, we could do that.
Nice, that'd be great. Cool.
Okay.
Well, the Greppa Storm even said that would be a good one.
Yeah, I would really like to talk about that. So maybe this we find some day to watch it. And then, I depending on how things are, I would need a little time to set things up for it. We could either do it later this week, I don't know, or next week. But let's aim for this or next week to get it done at least. Because that
sounds good to me.
That shouldn't be much trouble at all.
No, I think we'd have a lot to talk about. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so yeah, you could just check out the Patreon, check out the Blue Sky. I Am Everything Animated. You can check out my channel I uploaded a couple of things because there was an event that happened this past weekend called the Wild West Music Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And of all people, I saw two. Well, it was it was kind of a cheap event, but when I went inside to like see who was playing there, I saw Twista of all people. I saw Twista and Baby Bash. And there was a couple other people I didn't know, but those were the two big ones that I remember, and I uploaded them to my channel, and it got a couple of views, couple thousand views, which was nice. But you know, I like to upload my live event ones whenever I can. That's on my channel. I really need to get my ass back to finishing Danganronpa. I'm just so fucking busy sometimes. It just drives me insane. But trust me when I say this. When I'm ready to stream, you'll be the first one to know, Sasuke. You will be the first one to know. So there's that. I don't think there's anything else. That's all for me.
So, as for me, you can find me on my main channel, Sasuke the Savage, as well as my Twitch, Sasuke the Savage. That's with a DA, not a THE. And I stream a plethora of things. I got into God of War. I was playing 2K24, 2K11. I was playing a whole bunch of things this weekend. You can always count on me for visual novels. Right now, I'm playing a visual novel known as Paranorma Sight. Very interesting. A lot of Japanese folklore that they give us. And I'm going to finish Yakuza this week as well. I think the next time I'm going to stream is Wednesday. We'll see how that goes. And then I always stream on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So catch me there. Listen, I stream for a long time, so it don't matter. You don't gotta. You could come at probably 3 a.m. on that day or on the next day, and I'll probably still be streaming. So you jump in at any time. Probably catch me at lower energy levels, but yeah. But that is it for the podcast. We hope to see you guys next week. We will be picking up more shows as we're gonna have more
Ranger
episodes.
Rejects
Ranger Reject
and Apocalypse Hotel.
Oh yeah, Ranger Reject is the 13th. It was some weird day, right?
Yeah, I think it's
the 13th.
Yeah, like Sunday.
Yeah, so we'll have Ranger Reject and we'll have Apocalypse Hotel. So 2 new shows as well. The next batch of episodes for Future Diary are episodes 2 and 3, correct? So
yes,
if you're watching Future Diary with us, get episodes 2 and 3 done. So we got a lot to cover next podcast, but we'll try to be concise about it as much as possible. But again, thank you guys for watching. Stay blessed. We are out.
Later.